we will ask Floyd Rorick to lead us.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Karen, will you conduct the roll call, please?
Yes. Chair Daniels,
Here.
Vice Chair Maxwell,
Here.
Board Member Howard,
Present.
Board Member Elters,
Present.
Board Member Peshlikai,
Here.
Board Member Searle,
Present, but I can barely hear you, Karen.
okay, and Board Member Hermosillo. Madam, you have a quorum, you may proceed.
Thank you. Are we still waiting on Mayor Hermosillo?
No, she is on. So, Ms. Hermosillo, we didn't hear you, but
I can hear the chair and the board, but I can't hear anyone on the side.
okay, we'll try to speak closer to those microphones, and we'll ask people to please speak up. Can you hear us now? Mr. Searle?
It's very faint.
Okay. We'll make sure that we, anytime staff needs to speak, maybe Director Toth, we have you go to the podium for your director's report. That might help as well, but we'll do our best here. I wanted to personally, and on behalf of the board, thank the City of Payson for hosting us today. Thank you so much, and Mayor Otto, I know you're here as well, so very much appreciate the opportunity to be here, especially because it's about 15 degrees cooler, maybe 20, 25 degrees cooler than it is down in the valley, and I love getting up to this part of our state. It's a beautiful, beautiful area, so thank you for hosting us. Board members, do you have anything else you'd like to open with? All right, seeing none. We will move into, Floyd, will you please proceed with the announcement of the Civil Rights Act?
I would like to just double check real quick. Can Ms. Hermosillo or Mr. Searle, can you hear us now?
Yes, but audio is much better.
Okay, thank you. Pursuant to Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Americans with Disability Act, the Arizona State Transportation Board and ADOT do not discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin, or disability. No person will be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefit of, or be otherwise subjected to discrimination under any Arizona State Transportation Board or ADOT program or activity. To assist in measuring the public's participation, we ask each individual to please complete an online self-identification survey, and the link to that survey is on the agenda. For those who are present in person, we have survey cards at the entrance to the council chambers. Please fill out a card and leave them there. We'll pick them up at the end of the meeting. By completing this voluntary survey, ADOT will be able to determine who attends this public meetings and how the department can improve participation. The survey will also help ADOT fulfill federal reporting requirements. Thank you.
Thank you, Floyd. Let's move now to the director's report. Director Toth, would you mind proceeding? We're going to do a little bit of rearranging just to make sure that we can get to all of the public comment today. So just bear with us, but I assure you we're going to make sure we hear from every single one of you. So, Director?
Sure. Good morning. Thank you. I want to thank the town of Payson for welcoming us.
So, Jason, can we get the presentation for item 1 up, please? I know, but Amy's going to, you're going to turn to Amy. I want to get it up so that it's ready to go. Sorry.
So I know we have a busy agenda, so I'll try to keep things brief. Just a few updates. On June 3rd in Tempe, we celebrated the successful completion of the I-10 Broadway Curve project. The event included remarks from Governor Hobbs along with the mayors of Chandler, Tempe, and Phoenix. It was a wonderful gathering, just very excited to work with our partners. I had the opportunity to express my gratitude to our partners, including MAG, Federal Highway Administration, the Broadway Curve constructors, and the surrounding municipalities. Also, I just want to recognize the local business owners, the residents and drivers who all played a major role in, we appreciate their patience and their feedback along the way. And of course, at the end of this project, I want to say thank you to the State Transportation Board members for your continued support. The project's a great example of our agency's mission to safely connect people and empower the state's economy. So it is summer. You mentioned the temperature. It's that time of year again, and we're starting to see those higher temperatures. And I want to just give a general reminder for everyone to be prepared when they're on the road. Having a vehicle break down in extreme heat can be very dangerous. So simple steps such as checking your tire pressure, your coolant levels can be very important. Recommend always traveling with extra water in case of an emergency. And it is also officially monsoon season, so as just remember the dust and the pull aside to stay alive, safety tips. Just safely pull off on the paved section of the roadway, set your emergency brake, and turn off your vehicle lights if you do get caught into those dust storms. So thank you, and I'll turn it over to Amy Love for the legislative report.
I'm going to push pause for just a second because are you still working on some technical, Floyd?
Yes, Madam Chair, we got the presentation kind of out of order, so I'm going to see if I can share the presentation for item 1.
Thank you. All right, Amy, it's a big day at the legislature today, I understand.
Amy, are you there?
Good morning. Yes, please. Can everyone hear me?
We can now. Thank you, Amy.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, Madam Chair, board member. Thank you so much. It was a late night for sure at the State Senate. So I'll give a second while we get that up. I just wanted to take a moment and welcome our newest board member, Ernestine, as well. We had the opportunity to work together when I served as Senator Kelly's outreach director. So it's wonderful to see you again. Congratulations. And I look forward to
So
working
Jason,
with
you
you.
need to stop sharing.
Yeah, so
I'm going to share.
I live.
Sure. Yes.
So yes, I was at the Senate waiting for the amendment.
Amy, you're cutting out quite a bit. I'm not sure if it's... Amy, forgive me for just a second. You're cutting out quite a bit.
If I turn my video off, that might help.
Let me see if I can just show it here. You can stop sharing, I'll share it.
Is that better?
I think so. We'll find out.
Something.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. So yes, the Senate adjourned early this morning, and so I was there waiting for the amendments to see what the plans were for some of the projects we've been tracking. So we are on the 159th day of the legislative session, which is kind of hard to believe. Quite a few more bills have been passed, and these are as well, which you'll see in a moment when we get to the next slide.
We're still waiting. We've got 2 people sharing, and that's...
I'm going to ask, Amy, I'm going to ask you just to proceed without the slides if you can, just in the interest of
The slides will
efficiency.
be posted online, so
Thank
people
you.
will be able to see them.
Sure. I'm just going to pull them up here then so I can make sure I'm not misquoting.
I'm unmuted.
Excuse me.
Unmuted?
No,
Okay, so
he's muted.
I'm muted. I'm muted.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we are on now the 159th day of the legislative session. A total of 1,711 bills have been introduced. The governor has vetoed 139 of them. 220 have been signed into law. It was a late night at the legislature. The Senate adjourned very early this morning after passing their budget, and the House has adjourned until Monday, June 23rd as well. So they'll both be returning on Monday. Some of the key highlights I just wanted to raise for the board's awareness that the Senate budget that was passed fully funds all shortfalls related to the State Route 347 intersections, including the $10,839,000 for improvements to Casablanca and Cement Access Road intersections. It fully funds adding $41,400,000 for right-of-way acquisition, utility relocation, natural resource recovery, and construction of the Ridge Road 347 traffic interchange, and keeps in fiscal year 28 the other $48 million for that project. So the Ridge Road 347 traffic interchange would be fully funded by the Senate budget. And additionally, it provides for $1.5 million for design shortfall of the SR 347 widening in Pinal County. Additionally, the Senate added a floor amendment this morning to add $25 million to design and construct additional vehicle lanes on the I-10 between State Route 85 and Citrus Road. They've included $1.4 million for SR safety improvements near the San Carlos Apache Reservation. There were $2,129,800 to ADOT to design a second right-hand turn lane on northbound 87 to SR 260 in Payson, so a local project for the folks there. The next slide shows $1 million for Mojave County Mountain View Road improvements, $1.5 million for Bullhead City to improve Huoncock Road improvements. An amendment this morning from Mr. Kavanaugh added $6 million for Show Road to do the Wolford Road Extension project. Another $1 million for Cottonwood's Main Street Preservation sidewalk improvements. $1.9 million to Flagstaff for the traffic signal at Woody Mountain Road and Route 66. Glendale will receive $3 million for their 75th Avenue reconstruction project in the Senate budget. And additionally, $1.5 million to Kingman for Eastern Street infrastructure improvements. And finally, for the city of Nogales, several appropriations for local projects, including $1.5 million for Frank Reed Road improvements, $2.9 million for Industrial Park Road improvements, and $1.8 million for La Quinta Road improvements. I will say the numbers in the House budget were a little bit different. The House budget, as passed last week, would have funded the Ridge Road interchange, but a little bit differently, and it had additional money for the I-10, which was But for now, our understanding is the Senate budget will advance to the House. They took the weekend to review it, and we will only convene on Monday. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Amy. Any questions from the board? Just as an added point of clarification, all of the line items that you've shared with us, that's exciting and I'm grateful, but it hasn't been signed into law yet, so we just have to hold tight, it sounds like, for a few more days. But thank you for that update, Amy. Appreciate it. Director, was there anything else on the last minute item?
No, ma'am.
Okay, terrific. Moving on, we have no district report today, so agenda item 2 will be a foregone conclusion that we proceed forward. And we will move to item 3, our consent agenda. Does any member of the board want to remove anything from the consent agenda for additional discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will entertain a motion for the consent agenda today.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by board member Howard and a second by board member Maxwell. I just want to note publicly that that does include item 3H, the amended item that was added to the agenda this week. All right. Seeing any additional comments? All right. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. I'm listening for board member Searle's voice.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you. We will move now to the financial report from Christine Ward. Christine?
Good morning, board members. I see the excitement of the financial report has drawn quite a crowd this morning.
Math will do that.
Understand the passion. All right. Well, that does not look like my slide. Not even a little.
They're in the process of loading them up. They have to reload them.
Okay.
We'll proceed without slides today, Christine.
Excuse me, I
we'll-
certainly can. So
Thank
let's,
you.
We
let's
got
move this right along. Right within target forecast, we've collected a little over $1.6 billion. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, let's try this again. Right in target, 1.6 billion, 657 million collected. We're right within forecast. The individual categories, we had a couple of little unusual things, but nothing of significance that I really need to cover this morning, unless you have questions. Now I have slides.
Yep.
Moving on to the Regional Area Road Fund, again, you can see it, right within target. The individual categories for Regional Area Road Fund, we are just running really tight on our forecasts right now, so it's a very, very good forecasting year. Our actuals are coming right in. I have no further updates on the Fed program, and with that, I would be happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Christine?
No, only comment, Madam Chair, is this, you're right on the forecast. This is easily the closest and tightest I've seen the forecasting been since I've been on this board. So whoever's doing that forecast,
They
Tell
are
them
a
well
wonderful bunch. Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you. All right, that does have us move now to agenda item 5, which I think besides the financial report is the next most popular agenda item today. So we are going to proceed this way if it's amenable to the board. We will go ahead and proceed with the report from Matt Mole and Director Toth on the 5-year plan and the alternatives. We're going to skip a bunch of the slides because we heard the presentation through our study session on the 5th of June, and so we want to make sure we also have about 45 speakers today, so that's an hour and a half of public comment at 2 minutes apiece. So if we are just aware of sort of what's going to happen. So what I'd like to do is have agenda item 5 presented, and then we will have the public comment, and we will start with the Mayor of Payson, who's patiently waiting for us because he is number 1. And I will have people on deck. I'll be reading 3 names at a time so we can make sure everybody gets heard. And then we'll go to the online comments as well. I apologize to anybody who isn't here to speak on the 5-year plan. We're going to mix you in to the 5-year plan, but please know that your comments will be mentally noted for whatever agenda item you're here to speak on or other items. Once we finish with the public comment, the board, I will ask the board to, if we can convene in an executive session. There's a legal item that the board all needs to learn and understand from our attorney. And so I will ask the board to do that, and then we will come back and have the comment from the board members. So that's kind of the lay of the land for the next few minutes, / 2 to 3 hours. All right, moving on, Director Toth, if you want to, did you want to start or go straight to Matt?
Matt
Okay.
will start.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name is Matt Mull. I'm the Multimodal Planning Division Director for ADOT. So, somewhat awkward to skip some of these slides. But
If you want to do slide 3,
okay,
and then we will skip a bunch, and I'll help walk through this with you.
I do say sure. Just,
Oh, sure, yeah. And this slides, all of this presentation is available to the public, so.
okay, for that's slide 2. Did you want to start there? Slide 3?
Yeah.
One more slide, 3.
Okay.
There you go, perfect.
For the program years 2026 to 2030, there is a grand total of $7.68 billion split among the 3 regions at their designated allocation percentages. The available funding for the upcoming 5 years is dispersed to the 3 regions as follows: 50% to Greater Arizona, 37% to Maricopa County, and 13% to Pima County. Okay. Where do you want to go next, Madam Chair?
excellent.
Let's show the slides. We don't need to, I think, probably provide too much comment. We'll go through all the districts
Okay.
without,
So this is the Greater Arizona portion. This is a summary showing that This proposed program stays above the $466 million recommended investment choice. This is a summary of District 1. This is a summary of District 2. Those two districts don't have a county breakdown because they're one county. This is a breakdown of District 3. This is a breakdown by county for District 3. This is a summary for District 4. This is the breakdown of counties in District 4. This is a summary for District 5. This is the county breakdown for District 5. This is a summary for District 6. This is a breakdown by county for District 6. The Maricopa County portion, do you want to
Keep going, you're doing great.
keep going? Okay.
I'm cheering you on.
This is an update that you've seen previously during the study session and previous meetings on the I-10 corridor. This is a summary of the Maricopa County Regional Transportation Program. For Pima County, this is a slide that you've seen before for the I-10 widening at Kenowa Country Club. This is a breakdown of the Pima County Regional Transportation Program construction projects. This is our Airport Capital Improvement Program and a summary slide. With that, I am to my speaking note that says to turn it over to our director, Madam Chair. With your
Terrific.
permission.
And so just so the public's aware, that was all information that's been presented to the board a couple of different times in a couple of different ways. Thank you for the county breakdown. That's really helpful, especially when we're making those comparisons through the, the tentative plan that we have. So that was extremely helpful. Everything in your presentation forward is new, so we will spend a lot more time on that. But
Madam
Director
Chair,
Johnson,
members of the board, if I may, would you like to see it like that every time?
let's talk offline
Okay,
about
thank you.
maybe how we can streamline some of that.
So, next slide. Madam Chair, this alternative 2 was presented previously, and what this does is it modifies the alternative 1, the tentative transportation program, by moving Lion Springs project from fiscal year 2026 to 2028 and adding 347 widening project in 2026. It also adds the design phases for the P2P projects that were ranked number 5 through 8. So this had been presented previously. The next slide, I asked, because 260 has been deferred multiple times, I asked staff to take a really hard look at our program again to see if there was a way to keep 260 in the program in the year that it is in the tentative program, as well as add 347 widening. In doing so, this would defer 3 pavement projects out to 2029, and that would be, I apologize, 2030, correct?
2030, yes.
Yeah. So that would be I-40, US 70, and State Route 85, and then add the 347 widening into the 2026-2027 timeframe. And still maintaining adding the design phase for the P2P projects ranked 5 through 9. I apologize, 5 through 8. The design phases for those. 9 is the 347 widening. So we've been trying not to dip into pavement preservation. However, I think this was a creative solution to be able to help everyone and maintain projects that need to be completed. As you know, if we defer a project into later years, the costs increase, and with those continuing cost increases, it makes it more and more difficult to complete those projects, especially the corridor projects like 260 and US 93. So with that, we'd be happy to answer any questions associated with the 3 alternatives provided today.
Any specific questions from the board on content from alternatives 2 and 3? And the reason I said alternative 2 was new is because it wasn't presented as alternative 2. I just wanted to make sure there was clarification. We did have that Line Springs alternative that was presented to us 2 months ago, 2 meetings ago. It's been a minute, which was important in May, and it was important to us as a board that be properly vetted. So that's why I said it was new, because now we have an alternative 2 and an alternative 3, which is a little bit different format than what we had previously.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Director, can you once again state the stuff I can see here? I guess what I'm not sure if I'm seeing it on this is that pavement preservation that we moved. Can you again state what it is that we've moved into 2030 since we're going outside of our 5-year plan? Well, we're going to the end of the 5-year plan. Could you state what it is again you're moving in the pavement preservation, or is it just taking money out of that pot?
So it is, if you look halfway down the slide,
All the NAs.
all the NAs, those are the projects that are currently scheduled for 2027 and moving those out to 2030.
Okay, so
in order
even
to-
though the dollar signs are still shown in 27 on that chart, that's what's confusing me. I saw dollar signs in 27 and in 2030.
Correct.
So it's not going to happen in 27, it's all in 30.
Right. What the first white line on each of these is the tentative
Understand.
program, and then the alternative is the pink line down below.
Our agenda shows FY 2029 is the deferment, but what you're saying is it's FY 30.
Correct.
Okay, so that's a deviation from the agenda. I just want to be clear when the motion is made, or if and when a motion is made.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Director.
Any other questions before we go to public comment?
I do have one question with regards to infrastructure.
Please.
If the 3 projects, the I-40, the 85, and the 70 are delayed, do you have district comments on all 3 of those projects, or have you visited with the districts to get their input on delaying those 3 projects?
Madam Chair, Board Member Howard, when you say districts,
The-
are you talking the engineering
The maintenance.
districts?
Maintenance.
Yes. Yeah, this was, Greg had discussed, and Matt, and we took a look at what were the best condition projects so that we wouldn't delay or have, how do I put that, Greg? The best condition projects that could be delayed. In other words, they wouldn't totally unravel by the time we got to them in 2030. And as you know, the program is fluid. You see that every month when we come back with PPAC items. So those 3 projects will still continue and still be shelf ready, so that if funding becomes available before 2030, we would be able to move them back into, well, not, they are in the program, but back up into the 20,
Reschedule.
yeah.
So to kind of continue on that, what we looked at is the type of maintenance that those 3 projects require. We're talking about basically being able to maintain those at basically the same service level for the next couple of years. So, but with the intent of, if funding does become available, those would be advanced up as soon as possible. Now, the nice thing is, because we split it across 3 projects, we can do one at a time to be able to bring those up, rather than having one large project that's pushed over and not be able to move it up, because we'd have to have a bulk of money to be able to do that. So we can slowly kind of pull those back up with funding availability if it becomes available.
And a portion of those segments, if they do degrade throughout this time period,
So yeah,
we'd be willing to reallocate some of the emergency maintenance funding to make some repairs needed along those areas in the future years.
Yes.
up until that point.
Any funding that we can be able to advance those projects, we would certainly be looking at trying to do that.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
Board Member Alters?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. This is really a statement reflecting on past experience and seeking confirmation. Understanding that the pavement press program is north of $400 million a year. We're talking about multiple years. You do the math, we're talking about over $1 billion of project in a hopper that is usually based on road conditions. So the pavement press program is more fluid, true, and it's a 2-year, 3-year cycle. There is no right-of-way acquisition, there is no environmental clearances, so you have a lot more, you as the department have a lot more flexibility to move projects around. To that end, I'm assuming, and I asked the question seeking confirmation to make sure that everybody have that understanding, that as we go down the road with these proposed alternatives, whichever it is, the department has the commitment, will always do, to preserve the system, and will do whatever is needed to move those projects around so that 3 that are being deferred aren't going to be left out past the time they're needed to change it from a pavement preservation project to a reconstruction project, I'm assuming. And please feel free to dwell on that, Craig or Director, as you need to.
And you are correct with that. We prioritize on an annual basis, we prioritize, but even in the interim, we prioritize projects as we go through, because the decay of our pavements is not uniform across the state. So it changes depending on volumes, depending on what happens. I mean,
Weather.
there's too much variability, so we always have to prioritize.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
only clarification I would make is just a slight one. We still do need environmental clearances. They're just less rigorous, I would say, than something like 347 or Lion Springs.
Board Member Maxwell?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I could tell her I wasn't going to ask anyway. So those 3 projects, what are you mentioned the service rating D grades. What are they currently?
So all 3 of those are currently in fair condition.
Okay.
So-
Thank you. I was hoping not to hear the poor word. Thank you.
Board Member Peshlikai, do you have any questions? Board Member Searle or Board Member Hermosillo, do you have any questions prior to the public comment?
No questions this time, Chair. I do appreciate the options that were being given, though.
I concur, no questions on my behalf, and I also appreciate the information. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will move to public comment now. Mayor Stephen Otto, you are our first speaker, and we will have Supervisor Vidiello on deck, and then we'll keep proceeding from there. So, Mayor, thank you. Thank you for hosting
This side
us.
of the dais, this is kind of interesting. I am Mayor Steve Otto of Payson, and thank you for coming up here. My concern is that we have State Highway 87 coming up from the valley. Very nice 4-lane highway, 2 lanes headed north, 65 miles an hour. And we get all that traffic to Payson, and we proceed to have a bottleneck. We have 1 turn lane from 87 northbound to 260. And I'm glad you folks are here on a Friday because you're going to get to experience Friday Payson traffic. That's the need for the second turn lane at 87 260 isn't a want, it's an absolute need to get traffic through town. And Lion Springs is even more critical because 260s, we're killing people up there regularly. I mean, just this last week we killed a couple. The family members of one of our Payson Town Council members were killed in a car crash on 260. Just this week, I believe. Lion Springs needs to be a priority of the top ranking. I don't know how you do that, but we're putting more traffic up on a 2-lane road than it's designed to handle. People are getting frustrated. There's a lot of traffic from all the campsites, all the summer activities that go on up there. If you're trying to get on to 260 from Willow Springs Lake or from Woods Canyon Lake, there's no breaks in the traffic on the weekend. So something's has to happen, and I just implore you to do everything in your power to get 260 widened sooner rather than later, and get the second turn lane on 87 headed eastbound on 260. So, but again, thanks for being here, and I gladly relinquish my seat. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate you, and again, appreciate Payson hosting us today. Supervisor Vitiello, you are up next with Thomas Goodman on deck. Troy White will be after Thomas Goodman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, board members. My name is Rich Vitiello. I am the Pinell County Supervisor in District 1, which covers Maricopa. I'm also the former Vice Mayor of the City of Maricopa. I've been here 20 years. You've heard my story over and over again about my buddy Izzy Calderon. We're getting ready to have our 9th tournament. He sits in a vegetarian state right now for the last 9 years. And we do the softball tournament to help him with his family. We raise $10 to $20 million every year. This is personal to me. Every story is personal. You guys have a very difficult job. I understand that. We've had 40, 50 deaths in the last 5, 6 years. You're going to hear all the stories. I'm not going to go through all of them. We have accidents every day, almost of the week, and closures every day of the week. I just want to stand before you today and tell you that the 347 is a main priority. We have 50,000 cars a day that drive up and down that road every day, and they pray to get home. They pray to get to their jobs, and they pray to get home to their families. So please, look forward and look hard to put the 347 at the top of your list. And I also want to just make sure you guys remember, I have a $20 million check here. I just need to know where it needs to be sent, either the City of Maricopa or ADOT. So please, realize how much money we're putting into this, over $50 million roughly going into this, and 20 from Pinell County. I want to thank my current board members for supporting the 347. All 5 of us decided that this was a main issue in Pinell County. Thank you, God bless you, and I appreciate all the hard work.
Thank you, Supervisor. Thomas Goodman with Troy White on deck, and after Troy will be Bill Robertson.
Chair and members of the board, thank you for this opportunity to speak today. My name is Tom Goodman. I'm the county engineer for Gila County. I will limit my comments to 2 minutes. As I stated at the recent work session, pulling the $110 million in funding from the Lion Springs project would be a great disservice to the thousands of motorists that travel this stretch of SR 260 every year. This is not just a road project, this is a life-saving investment. Lion Springs is a proven danger with too many crashes, too many injuries, and too many close calls. It's a narrow, outdated 2-lane road with no shoulders and no margin for error. So I'm here to urge you to keep the SR 260 Lion Springs funded for fiscal years 26, 27, and 28. ADOT identified this back in the early 1990s as a problem. So Lion Springs is the last of the 6 projects between Payson and Mogollon Rim that remains to be completed. Delaying this project would delay critical safety improvements that our citizens deserve. Thank you for your time and commitment to transportation safety.
Thank you, Thomas. Troy White, you're up with Bill Robertson, and then Lori Riley on deck.
Good morning, board. Troy White, Interim Public Works Director for Gila County. The traffic congestion in this region is not a result of local residents, but rather the thousands of visitors who travel to go north each year to hunt, fish, boat, camp, clip, jump, and enjoy Arizona's incredible outdoor spaces. Payson serves as a gateway to 3 national forests, Tonto, Coconino, and Avar S. and its proximity to lakes and recreation areas make it an ideal getaway for the growing population of the valley. In 2024, nearly 5 million people visited Arizona National Forest, an increase of over 200,000 from 2023. The infrastructure, however, has not kept pace with the growing demand. The Lion Springs project area in particular is limited to a single lane in each direction without a shoulder, creating severe congestion. This stretch has had numerous accidents, including fatalities, as well as a high number of wildlife vehicle collisions, leading to serious injury and tragic results. Families from across Arizona come here to create lasting memories in nature, but instead, many are experiencing hour-long delays or becoming victims of preventable accidents. What should be a peaceful family getaway is increasingly becoming a frustrating and dangerous journey. The Lion Springs project is just not a regional improvement that serves the local area. It is a statewide necessity. It supports safe travel for residents and visitors alike, and enhances access to Arizona's most treasured natural resources. This project is shovel-ready, and it can make a difference and start saving lives now. For that reason, I respectfully urge the Transportation Board to prioritize and maintain funding for Lion Springs project. This project is vital to the safety and quality of life for all Arizonans and visitors from across the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. Bill, you're up. Lori and Torrin Terrell on deck.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, board members, and staff. My name is Bill Robertson. I'm a resident of the city of Maricopa. I also serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission as a commissioner. I'd like to remind you of the things that we do know. We've met before, we've talked before, at exhaustive measures. We know that 347 is one of the most dangerous state roads, killing an average of 4 people every year. If we wait 5 years, that's 20 more deaths. We know that it's a lifeline in and out of the city of Maricopa, and there are a few alternatives for additional state roads to be built. We know the city of Maricopa is one of the fastest growing cities, small cities, in the entire country. We also know that the city of Maricopa has over 200 square miles of additional growth in front of us. We know there are currently 70,000 entitled new homes to be built in the next couple decades. We know that there are no real alternatives in and out for other corridors. We know that the Maricopa residents voted a supermajority to tax themselves to bring you $50 million to put on your table. We know that the Gila River Indian community has now signed on and officially sent letters supporting this project for their economic growth and safety of their community members. We know that Pinal County Board of Supervisors, as Supervisor Richard Vidiello said, that has anteed up $20 million towards this project. This project has been stalled for over 10 years. We know Maricopa has put in the work and the financial commitment. What we don't know is the future. The future lies with your decision today. The decision is yours. We are pleased to see that options are now available to us that can handle a lot of the tough decisions that you have to make today. We encourage the options that include 347. I'll end with reminding you what the headline in our local paper said recently. Let's get it done. That's what we're asking you to do today. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Lori Riley, you are up with Torrin Terrell and Eric Gettle on deck.
Good morning. My name is Lori Riley. My husband Kevin and I are longtime Maricopa residents and owners of Right 347, a local transportation company. We specialize in shuttles to and from Phoenix Sky Harbor. Our buses go up and down the 347 up to 16 times a day, so you could say this issue deeply affects us. Our group had to drive up last night because we were unwilling to risk missing our meeting this morning due to an accident if it were to shut the 347 down, which unfortunately happens far too often. On any given day when this occurs, our business is forced to divert our shuttles through the city of Casa Grande, which is not ideal when you realize it's 21.6 miles south of us and the airport is 40 miles north of us. This has happened numerous times. Each incident cost my business hundreds of dollars, not to mention what happens to my schedule for the rest of the day. In order to stay on time and get people to and from the airport, we end up having to use a backup bus, a backup driver, and additional trips. How can companies like mine survive and thrive in an already challenging economy with conditions like this daily? We're just one small business, and with a negative financial impact nearly every day. Can you imagine the cost to the large Arizona businesses when they get rerouted like we do? It has to be hundreds and thousands of dollars lost for our Arizona economy. Maricopa just made HGTV's list of the best up-and-coming small cities in the country. We are going to continue to grow at a fast pace no matter what you do. Wouldn't it be great if we can offer these new people a safe way to get in and out of our beautiful city? I think so. There is no number you can put on what it is costing the people of Arizona to not fix this road. Our sanity, our money, our livelihoods. I implore you on behalf of every single Arizona business owner and citizen, please include the 347 widening project on your 5-year plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Torin, you're up with Eric Gettle and Mayor Nancy Smith on deck.
Greetings and good morning, board members. My name is Torin, a resident of Maricopa. I greet you today as something that weighs heavy on my heart. It's my 2 cents in this controversial State Road 347 controversy. I'm reminded, or I even think about the various reasonable attempts at finalizing the decision, how we eagerly anticipated yes, but I feel most of the times we're met with not yet. Wait your turn as other projects take our lonely little spot. When we finally get a word, there is a chance we get excited with the hopes and that the years of waiting is finally going to pay off. But then again, it's wait. Then we're finally told if funding were in place, then maybe it can happen. So we as a city take on more in the financial area in order to dream of fixing our severe problem. And once again, here we are. It is very tired being a squeaky wheel, but our only resolve is to avoid the appeasement oil until it is a reality. What we witness on a daily is not fiction. It is a reality cemented in our conscience that pushes us further to be vocal and to write you even more. I'm blessed with 3 new teenage drivers in my household, who in turn must rely on such dangerous road to go to and from to support other communities. They are 15 years old, 16 years old, and 17 years old. And as I mentioned this, my hair is getting grayer and grayer. Fact is, we love our city. We love our states. But a simple yes proves that you love us back. Thank you.
Thank you, Torin. Eric, you are up with Mayor Nancy Smith and Councilmember Anna Marie Knorr on deck.
Good morning, Chair Daniels, Vice Chair Maxwell, and esteemed board members. My name is Eric Gettle, and I'm a member of the City Council of the City of Maricopa. We're actually here representing the city in an effort to partner with you in including the 347 expansion into the 5-year program. About a month ago, I had to make one of the most difficult decisions I had ever faced in my tenure as a member of the City Council. As a conservative who has fought to lower taxes for our residents, I had to make the difficult decision to support a half cent sales tax. This was tough, but a vital choice as this state highway needs to be repaired and expanded. So today I'm inviting you and asking you to make an equally tough but vital decision. You have several very valid and good alternatives before you today. Our lives depend upon it. The State Route 347 is our only access route, as you know. It's in the crisis mode. It's failing. In 2023, we saw 270 accidents, fatality, and averages over 100 injuries a year annually. Rear-end crashes plague our commutes, limited hospital access forces roadside deliveries, congestion stifles our economic growth. Funding and expanding the 347 with lanes, overpasses, and safety features is absolutely necessary at this point. It is urgent. Maricopa is pioneering a model, and that's what I want to bring to you today. We are coming to the table with all kinds of solutions. We bring money, we bring partnerships, we've assumed control and funding of portions of the 347 and the 238 within our city boundaries, which is freeing up money for ADOT's additional projects. With funded projects like Ricks Road, Interchange, and Maricopa County's northern segment, it shows progress, but the full quarter needs your attention. They need your commitment. This is a regional priority. By prioritizing the State Route 347, we'll save lives. We'll show other municipalities how local investment unlocks state and federal support. Please act now and place the 347 expansion into the 5-year program. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mayor Smith with Anne Marie Knorr and Priscilla Benke on deck.
Thank you. For those that are online, I want to let you know, because you can't see, there are a lot of people here filling 2 rooms. And I say that because at home we have 50 to 100 people watching this online. And it's important for them to know all of these communities are very valuable and they love their community, just like we do for the city of Maricopa. I love my community and our residents, and the road for 347 is a lifeline for us. 76% of our residents leave Maricopa to travel to work, to school, and to their appointments every day. Every day, 76% of our families. 58,000 cars every day, cars and trucks. In last year's election, they elected me as mayor as a mandate to help move this project forward. And this is not a new project, as been mentioned. This is at least 14 years, 11 years of Mayor Price, coming month after month, presenting you with the concerns. 3 years of myself coming month after month. So we've had our own skin in the game too, as you now know, which is really important. Our very conservative city council made the hard decision to raise our sales tax, which we have not done in the existence of the city of Maricopa, by ½ cent to help fund this project and to match the ADOT's 2 policies that says when local contributions come forward, then that actually can change the priority of projects. We've worked hard to raise, this is amazing to me, if you take into consideration what's happening at the state today, $280 million from our partners, state legislators, MAG, Pinal County, and our city. And then now, our partner, Gila River Indian Community. Yesterday, you should have received a letter from Governor Lewis. And I just want to share a little bit with you. Seriously? I'm trying to...
Mayor Smith, you have certain privileges given your title, so
I timed this. I must have gone a little
You don't
slower.
Tell mayors no. Continue.
Okay, thank you. So this is from Governor Lewis from Gila River Indian Community, and we so are grateful for their partnership. He says, I am writing today to express the Gila River Indian Community's support for critical improvements to State Route 347, including the widening of the entire corridor. We encourage you to participate to prioritize funding for this project so it can commence as soon as possible. State Route 347 runs through community lands. Safety on this road is a constant concern. The adverse impact is profound as commuters often seek illegal alternative routes through the community's residential areas and significantly increasing the safety risk to their members and as a result. That's all from Governor Lewis. There's actually a few more paragraphs in there, so please take the time to read that. Board members, I'm asking you to support one of the 3 options that actually have 347, putting it into the 5-year plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Knorr, you are up with Priscilla Benke and Nicholas Sizemore on deck.
Good morning, chair members, members of the board. Thank you for allowing me to speak. As a council member for the city of Maricopa and a mother of 4, I've learned that true improvement, whether in a home or a state transportation system, often requires courage. John F. Kennedy once said, efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. And today I ask this board to show both courage and direction by including the widening of the State Route 347 in your 5-year plan. For too long, State Route 347 has been a glaring weakness in an otherwise thriving and growing region. Every day, tens of thousands of residents, parents commuting to work, children traveling to school, and businesses moving people and goods place their safety and livelihoods in jeopardy because of this bottleneck. And yet, Maricopa continues to step up, investing in infrastructure, collaborating with our partners, and doing our part to support growth that benefits the entire state. But courage is not just about managing what already exists. It's about confronting what must change. We know the process is complex. We know there are competing priorities. But we cannot let fear of complexity prevent action on a project so critical to safety, so critical to economic vitality and regional stability. The people of Maricopa have demonstrated their courage every day by emailing you, by building a community against significant odds. Now we ask this board to match that courage, to choose purpose and direction, and make the long overdue investment in the 347. Thank you.
Thank you. Priscilla Benke, you are up with Nicholas Sizemore and Amber Learman on deck.
Good morning, board. My name is Priscilla Benke, and I'm a mother and a nonprofit leader in the city of Maricopa. But more than that, I am someone who believes in the power of strong families, and they need to protect time, space, and safety they deserve. You've heard the crash data. There's 25,024 accidents and 43 lives lost on that 347 in just 10 years. But what gets lost in those numbers is everything else that's being taken from our families. Dinners, supportive conversations, homework help, and emotional connection. These things matter. Research shows that regular family dinners are linked to lower rates of substance use, depression, and behavioral problems in teens. They're associated with better grades, better communication, and stronger parent-child relationships. But in Maricopa, those moments are disappearing. Not because parents don't care, but because they're stuck on a road that doesn't work. We see it every day. Parents arriving late and rattled. Teens missing out on activities that could have changed their path. Children waiting, worrying. The emotional toll of this road runs deep, and it's growing with every year of inaction. We've shown up, and we've stepped up. Our city and county together committed $50 million to be a part of the solution. Now we're asking you to match that commitment, not just to infrastructure, but to mental health, educational success, and the well-being of our next generation. Please put SR 347 on the 5-year plan, and let's this be the moment that we chose families over delay. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. Nicholas Sizemore, you are up with Amber Learman and Kiana Richardson on deck.
Good morning. My name is Nicholas Sizemore. I've lived in the city of Maricopa for 11 years, split between 2 different eras of my life, 8 years as a child and 3 years as a teenager and now an adult. If you were to ask anyone who lives in Maricopa what defines our daily life, there's one answer you'll hear again and again. It's State Route 347. State Route 347 is the artery that connects us to the rest of the world, but it's also one of our biggest vulnerabilities. It's small, outdated, and increasingly dangerous. Accidents happen on a near daily basis, some minor, others catastrophic. For many families, it's not just a road. It's where precious time is lost, and sometimes where lives are changed. You've likely heard from drivers who complain about congestion, poor road conditions, and safety issues, but I want to speak for the people who aren't behind the wheel, passengers, and those who don't even drive. I don't have a driver's license, but even from my experience being on the road, State Route 347 is not sufficient for Maricopa. We lose hours, precious, irreplaceable hours, stuck in traffic, late for work, late for school, and missing out on the very things that make life meaningful. Families spend more time in their cars than around their dinner tables. My family has lost countless hours on this road. Now imagine that multiplied across every household in Maricopa. Maricopa is a growing community. Families, businesses, and dreams are being built there. But we can't build a strong future on a crumbling foundation. State Route 347 isn't just a road, it's our lifeline, and we need to breathe new life into it. So I ask you, please consider including State Route 347 and by extension the people of Maricopa in your 5-year plan. We're not asking for a luxury, we're asking for safety, for time, and for the chance to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Amber Learman, you are up with Kiana Richardson and Alexander Milek on deck.
Good morning. My name is Councilmember Amber Learman. I have lived and worked in Maricopa for 21 years. I serve as a high school counselor. I have talked to grandparents, parents, and many teen first-time drivers. This vote is a life-saving vote. I have lost a 10th grade student, a 1st grade student, and this year one of my students lost their father. He was a father of 6 children with the youngest a 3-month-old son on 347. What happens on 347 affects our community and our way of life. It's not just a road. A missed birthday party, doctor's appointments, flights, family dinners, etc. A few unique facts about 347 is that there is no lighting. It is a dark 13-mile drive. There are cell phone dead zones, and tow trucks can cancel their reservations, leaving the driver stranded. These facts impact our community, our inexperienced and vulnerable drivers. Please save the lives of our community members and prioritize 347. And I want to thank you for the time that you've spent on this particular issue and for your commitment and your service being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Learman. Kiana Richardson, you are up with Alexander Milik and Cooper Price on deck.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Kiana Richardson, and I moved to Maricopa in the 4th grade. Years later, as more and more homes go up around us, the infrastructure just hasn't kept up. I'm 18 now, and I've grown up watching how this one highway affects everything. It's not just traffic, it's our daily lives. Parents are leaving before the sun rises just to beat traffic, many of them before their kids wake up. And by the time they get home, it's late. That means missed dinners, missed homework help, and missed moments. For a lot of kids, that time together just doesn't happen anymore. Some nights, my own mom comes home just to go straight to bed, to wake up and try and beat the traffic. So many kids in Maricopa come home to empty houses. We grow up fast because we have to. And when there's no one around, it's easy to give into peer pressure or into doing things we might regret. Not because we're bad kids, but because there's no one there to guide us. I also know a lot of parents who want to move, just to get closer to the work and avoid the 347 altogether. But they don't, because they don't want to take their kids away from their friends, schools, or support systems. That's the kind of pressure this one road is putting on people. That's what the highway is doing. It's creating distance, not just between cities, but between families. Highway 347 isn't just about traffic flow. It's about communities, mental health, and our quality of life. So I ask that when ADOT plans for the future, you don't just look at maps and traffic counts. Look at the real people behind the wheel. Look at the kids growing up on the other side of those commutes. We need solutions that grow with us and not years behind us. Please add 347 to the 5-year plan. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. I think we have a future mayor on our hands. Alexander Milik, you are up with Cooper Price on deck and Kimberly Daniels, no relation, on deck.
Hello. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak. My name is Alexander Milik, and I'm a student from Maricopa, and I want to share how the 347 affects people like me. There have been times where I had to walk home from school because my parents were stuck in traffic. When the 347 backs up, it shuts down everything around it. The traffic is long, slow, and wastes a lot of gas and time. But other times, it turns into a raceway. People speed, ignore limits, and that leads to accidents, sometimes really bad ones, that block the road entirely. This affects everyone, not just drivers, students, families, workers. We all rely on the 347. For new drivers, it is especially scary. With all the accidents and the distracted drivers we see, it doesn't feel safe. Maricopa is growing fast, but the 347 hasn't kept up. There aren't many places to go in town, so if you want to go anywhere, we have to take that road. And right now, that road isn't working for us. Please put the 347 on the 5-year plan. We need it to be safer, faster, and better for everyone who lives here. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. Hope all the Maricopa council members are thinking about job security right now. Cooper Price, you are up with Kimberly Daniels and Joshua Eads on deck.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Cooper Price, and I have been a resident of Maricopa for 18 years, in other words, my entire life. I have grown up spending hours on the SR 347 just for a simple trip to Costco. An absurd amount of my and all residents of Maricopa's time has been spent waiting in line just to get home. Having only had my driver's license for around a year, I'm fairly new to driving, and I was terrified of driving on the SR 347 for the first time, and reasonably so. SR 347 is one of the most dangerous roads in the state. I wish I could have felt nervous only because I had never driven on a road so big, not because I had a good reason to fear for my safety. I want new drivers such as myself to feel excitement to drive the SR 347 for the first time, not dread, because they risk themselves and their car's occupants while in the driver's seat. For new drivers, driving this road should be a milestone and not an overwhelming obstacle. In Maricopa, there are certain things that kids my age like to do. We like to go to Yogurt Jungle and Ross, and you like to eat at places like Cilantros and Roots. The catch, all of these places are on the 347. When the 347 backs up, it becomes near impossible to get to the places that offer entertainment that Maricopa's youth rely on in order to interact with our friends. This challenge in getting to where we like to gather encourages us to stay home and to be increasingly addicted to devices, isolating ourselves. With the proposed changes to 347, moving between places that we like to go becomes much easier, allowing us to be together and present. We are here today because we believe that we can make a difference by showing up. And in Maricopa, we always show up. This is not just about asphalt and passing lanes, it's about our people and our safety. We need the SR 347 on the 5-year plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Cooper. Kimberly Daniels, you are up with Joshua Eads and Sharon Walker on deck.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Kimberly Daniels, and I've been a resident of the city of Maricopa for over a decade. I want to share kind of a personal story that reflects the greater issue in our community. My mother suffers from anxiety, severe anxiety, and this did not go well for her when I was learning to drive, especially at the thought of me going on a 347. Unfortunately, she is not unique in this severe anxiety about the 347. A lot of opportunities for our youth rest outside of the city limits, including jobs and important social opportunities, education opportunities, extracurriculars, all outside of town, which they cannot reach because parents are so afraid to let them out on the 347. I know personally before I started to drive, it was always, who's driving? How long have they been driving? Can they drive the 347? They know it's dangerous, right? And I'm like, yes, it's okay, Mom, but really it wasn't okay. And this safety issue has been long overdue. This isn't something I tell a lot of people, but I literally pray every time I go on the 347, I kid you not, because a lot of drivers aren't safe and the road just isn't safe itself. And so I really highly encourage and I thank you for listening. Please include the 347 on your 5-year plan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kimberly. Joshua Eads is up with Sharon Walker and Brandy Hillman on deck.
Hello, Board. My name is Josh Eads, and I'm the president of the Professional Firefighters of Maricopa. I'm here today to show support for the widening of the 347 and discuss what it means to the firefighters of Maricopa. For the firefighters and paramedics of Maricopa, it's not just a traffic issue, it's a public safety issue. The 347 is the main corridor for transporting patients to the local hospital, to responding to emergencies on the highway, and also receiving automatic aid from our regional partners. Right now, traffic congestion on the 347 increases ambulance transport times to the hospital. In many cases, our units are also delayed returning back to Maricopa, adding response times to the next call. Every minute matters, and delays cost lives. Our firefighters are also operating directly on the highway during emergency incidents. With limited shoulders and heavy traffic, their safety is constantly at risk. Lastly, we rely on automatic aid partners from throughout the region in the Phoenix area, and they're also face those same bottlenecks on coming to Maricopa. This impacts our support when we have larger structure fires, major medical incidents, and hazardous material calls. On behalf of the firefighters of Maricopa and the citizens that we proudly serve, I respectfully request this board to prioritize the widening of the 347 as it is a public safety issue. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Joshua. Sharon, you are up. Brandy Homan and Christian Milik on deck.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chair Daniels and board members. I'm going to be brief here because there's so many speakers, and I'm going to start with my bottom line up top. I would respectfully request that you choose option 2 or option 3 today. We feel that that's very critical to the city of Maricopa. I echo the sentiments of everyone who has spoken this day and those that you'll hear from later. We represent the full citizenship of the city of Maricopa, and this is greatly important to all of us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sharon. Brandy Homan, you are up with Christian Milek and Madeline Homan on deck.
Good morning. My name is Brandy Homan, and I'm a mother, a community member, and someone who has watched far too many families be impacted by the danger of the State Route 347. This road is just not a route, it's a daily risk. Over the past 10 years, the section we are advocating for has seen more than 2,500 crashes, including 43 fatalities. Those are not just numbers, those are people. Every crash, every delay, every tragedy chips away at the well-being of our community. It erodes family life, increases stress, and limits opportunity. We hear from parents who miss dinner, teens who miss activities, and children left waiting long past programming hours because of a road that simply cannot keep up with the community it serves. In 2024, ADOT adopted a safety action plan that recommended placing greater weight on safety and project selection. This is the moment where policy meets real lives. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking for action backed by your own data, your own comments, and the reality of what Maricopa families live with every single day. Please prioritize SR 347 in the 5-year plan, not just because it's overdue, because it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandy. Christian Milek, you are up with Madeline Homan and Tina Dugan on deck.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Christian Milek, and I am a current NEU student up in Flagstaff. So, when I'm not in class, I often spend my time here with Be Awesome and with my friends and family over in Maricopa. Even though I didn't grow up in Maricopa, I've spent enough time here to understand just how much State Route 347 affects daily life. And that's everything. Out-of-town practices, work shifts, doctor's appointments, and even quick errands are all things that have to be carefully planned around that road. Too often, plans are canceled or significantly delayed because the 347 just isn't reliable and just dangerous for everyday travel. It's more than just an inconvenience, it's a barrier. Now that my younger brother is learning how to drive, who spoke here earlier, I'm realizing he's inheriting the same problems and challenges that so many have dealt with for years. He's being taught to avoid, not navigate the 347, and that's just not right. Driving from Flagstaff just to go to Maricopa, the 347 is where I spend a good portion of my time backed up, and it just makes the travel so much longer. I understand that progress takes time, but leaving the State Route 347 out of the 5-year plan, once again, sends a clear message that the safety, growth, and needs of Maricopa can keep waiting. But the people here have waited long enough. Please consider what this investment would mean for families, for kids, and for the future of the city. Please put State Route 347 on the 5-year plan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Christian. Madeline Homan, you are up with Tina Dugan and Ron Ankarame on deck.
Hello, Hello, my name is Madeline Homan, and I'm a college student at NAU, which is Northern Arizona University, which is located in Flagstaff. I've made that drive between Flagstaff and Maricopa more times than I can count. And every single time, the 347 scares me more than the I-17 has ever. Thankfully, the I-17 is finally being addressed. That's real progress, but the 347 has been a constant in my life, and not in a good way. Growing up, I've had to wake up really early so I can get my brother to and home from school. And when we're always often stuck in traffic on the 347. I remember sitting in that car for hours and hours and hours and hours, not knowing how long it would take. Every afternoon, I felt anxious. I was never sure if we'd make it home safely or even in one piece. But now I'm here, not for just myself, but to speak up for my peers who carry that same fear and frustration every single day. Please add the SR 347 to the 5-year plan. We can't keep waiting.
Thank you, Madeline. Tina Dugan, you are up with Ron Angarame and Christian Price on deck.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tina Dugan. I am a mom, a small business owner, and a real estate agent. I'm about the middle, so it's time for everybody to go hand up, let's stretch. I just wanted to remind you about a few things. I want to thank Director Todd and the ADOT for coming up with the alternatives that you're providing today. My personal favorite's number 3. I think everybody is important. As a real estate agent, I've watched buyers walk away from the homes they loved because of the 347. In 29 years, the 347 has sat as we see it today. While we've grown from 3,000 in a little farming community that we moved to get away from growth, to over 80,000 that we are today. The reputation is well known. As we sit here right now, they're investigating another accident, the second one this morning. I got lots of people out there sending me info while we're here. It's well known about accidents, delays, unpredictability. I've missed appointments due to serious crashes, and like so many of us, I've waited, stuck in traffic, knowing that someone's life may have changed or ended as the reason for my delay. I understand you have hard decisions to make, but this isn't just a line item or a map adjustment. It's a lifeline for tens of thousands of people who rely on this road every day. I respectfully and urgently ask you, please put State Route 347 on the 5-year plan. My personal favorite's Alternative 3. I might have already said that, I just thought I'd add it again. Our community can't wait any longer. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you, Tina. Ron Ingarambe with Christian Price on deck and Benjamin Bitter on deck.
Thank you, Adolph, for the opportunity to speak again about State Route 347. We recognize every project you consider is important, but we also believe in using data to make decisions for the greatest impact. One project has experienced the tragic loss of 3 lives over the past decade and 145 accidents. State Route 347 has had 43 fatalities and over 2,500 crashes. That's 14 times more. We're not saying one life matters more than another. We're saying 43 lives lost is a clear red flag. Proof that 347 poses a disproportionate and urgent risk to the tens of thousands who rely on it every day. Delaying 347 2 or more years will likely mean 8 or 9 lives lost. If safety is truly the priority, 347 cannot be overlooked again. What do I mean by again? Back in March of 2018, ADOT's own corridor profile study rated 347 as, quote, poor/below average across many performance measures. The recommendation then, widened to 6 lanes with a concrete median barrier. The cost then, $83 million. Today, the cost is $136 million. That's $53 million more. From 2018 to 2023, there have been 1,701 accidents and 25 fatalities. How many of those could have been prevented? Would 10-year-old Heidi Fernandez still be alive if the recommendations had been acted on? We'll never know. But we do know this. Ignoring 347 again will cost more lives. Please add a fully funded 347 to the 5-year plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Christian Price, you are up with Manager Bitter and Vice Mayor Henry Wade on deck.
Thank you, board members, Chair Daniels. I appreciate your time and your service. As you know, I was the mayor of the city of Maricopa for 11 years, and I followed this board around for that entire time. I'm not sure I missed a single meeting anywhere, all over the state. I truly understand how complex transportation is, and I certainly don't envy your decision making, but I do appreciate and respect the amount of work that you and staff have gone through to try and come up with alternatives. Well, I'm not going to sit here today and say that, I propose one over the other. I don't want to presuppose for any of your decision-making processes. I do want to point out the representative government that we have going on here today. You've seen youth, you've seen those of age, you see lots of passionate people in this room. In fact, I was just making friends with my seatmate over here, Jeff, who has a very passionate plea for you on his project, and that will continue to happen, and I think that's a good thing. Maricopa shows up. The 347 is critically important for the growing city. We have spent our time over the past 15 to 20 years as a new city on the scene, truly trying to build coalitions, understand the complexities of transportation, and find ways to do more with less. And so I think that what you see here today is as we've tried to create a model by which you build those coalitions with Gila River, Ak-Chin, Pinal County, MAG, the city of Maricopa, and others, that we also tried to bring money to the table because that allows for more projects and therefore more things to get built. Clearly, you have some tough alternatives and decisions to make, but I think the choice is clear. I do want to point out that while we're probably only halfway through the public comment at this point, not even so, I apologize, but at the same time, I haven't heard anyone step up and say I really support pavement preservation. So that being said, I hope that you can find in your hearts to make the right decision, and I really do appreciate pavement preservation, but you've got some tough choices ahead. Thank you, and please find a way to put 347 in the plan.
Pavement preservation comments usually come while you're driving.
Yes, they do.
In the form of expletives.
That's right.
All right.
Thank you,
Manager Bitter.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. What a blessing to follow Christian. That's great. As a city manager, we deal with competing resources, competing projects, and limited options. Well, actually, unlimited options, limited funds for those options. So I understand the difficulty that the board and that the staff has in creating a 5-year plan. That being said, when we look at those things, we have to do the right things at the right time. And as we've come to this process today, and we've signed an intergovernmental agreement with ADOT to get this project done, as we've contributed funding, we're bringing funding to the table so that the project can get done. We brought the facts, we brought the data, we brought all of the right things, and it's the right time. My daughter this week just got her driver's license, and in a similar echo, we don't let her drive on the 347. When we're having doctor's appointments or dentist appointments or orthodontics appointments or whatever it may be, we're driving to the valley every time. That's my wife or I driving. It's a challenge, but together we can overcome that. Over the course of the last few months, over the course of many years, as we've had these conversations, the City of Maricopa has created a great partnership with ADOT. We are here again to create that partnership, to form that partnership, to cement that partnership in both a figurative and a literal sense as we widen State Route 347. So with that, certainly encourage you to support either alternative 2 or 3 to put State Route 347 on the 5-year plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Bitter. Vice Mayor Wade, you are up with Councilmember Manfredi and Jill Hagner on deck.
Good morning, Madam Chair, distinguished members. My name is Henry Wade, and I'm the Vice Mayor for the City of Maricopa. I'm also a veteran, 20-year veteran of the United States Air Force, retired in 1993. Actually, I've been retired longer than I was in the military at this point. I've been to some cities throughout the world. I drove in Cairo. I drove in France. And I was scared then, but I'm petrified at times on the 347. I just recently retired from my day job, where I served for 12 years. 12 years going and coming on the 347. And it was fearful for me to get in that car and drive down that road. I now have a 16-year-old grandson that I'm scared to death about getting his driver's license. Fear. Fear is what's motivating me. I would hope that the fear of not doing something for us in Maricopa would get to you as well. I know that you have a hard job. I know that you have a lot of people who want you to go different ways or certain ways. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the way in which you handled that, the manner in which you come to our communities and give us an opportunity to express ourselves. I also am very proud of the people that I work with on the council, within the community. You can see us, and we know what's going on online. So you can see that we certainly have a lot of effort to put into this. I'm asking that you take the effort to make the right decision for us, because only you can do that. And next time you want to go driving for somewhere for excitement, go to Cairo. You want to be excited in driving, that's the excitement. Thank you very much, and please hope that you will make the right decision. I'm sure you will. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Manfredi with Jill Hagner and Alexander Kendrick on deck.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak today, Chair and board members. My name is Vincent Manfredi. I'm a council member in the City of Maricopa. I'm a business owner in the City of Maricopa. But more importantly, I'm just a resident in the City of Maricopa. And I am so proud of the residents that have driven up here today or yesterday, spent their own money to provide an influx into the Payson economy. I think there's probably like 20 hotel rooms taken up. I think I got the last one over at the Best Western over there. And I'm just so proud of what we've done in terms of trying to explain what is so needed and why it is so needed. And Christian mentioned a little while ago, and by the way, I don't know how the heck you kept him under 3 minutes, but Christian mentioned a few minutes ago some of the youth that have been here, and it's just amazing. In a world where we live by STP, right, that same 10 people, at everything you do, the same 10 people show up. I think you've seen more than 10 people. I think you've seen hundreds of people show up at these meetings over the last few months, few years, explaining to you why it's so important for the 347 to be expanded. I can go over all the numbers, but you've heard them all. I can go over a lot of the stories that you've heard, but you've heard them. And now it's up to you. And I really do not envy the position you're in. As public servants, we always are looking at what people want and having to weigh it against what we have available. And you really are doing a great job in using what you have available to get things done in this state. There is a need to fix the transportation funding in the state of Arizona, and hopefully that gets done. But until that gets done, we're going to have to keep asking you to pinch those pennies and figure out how to make sure that all of the priority projects are done. Thank you. Oh, and I want you to expand the 347.
Thank you, Councilmember. Jill Hagner, you are up with Alexander Kendrick and Supervisor Stephen Christensen on deck.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jill Hagner. I have a brand new vanity plate on my vehicle, awful 347, expressing my frustration about the 347. In the spring of 2019, the population of Maricopa was approximately 41,000 people. Fast forward to today, and the population has more than doubled in the last 5 years we've been there. My husband and I both commute daily to the greater Phoenix area and work for work, and have noticed significant changes in our commutes. Increased traffic flows, increased bottlenecks, and increased accidents, especially during rush hour. Don't even get me started on the route I have to take home through Casa Grande when the 347 is closed down due to a traffic incident. Our commute contains two of the worst intersections in the state, yet here we are, traveling with thousands of other drivers with a road that is status quo. There is congestion, road rage, and can we talk about the potholes? In addition to new home construction, we have something like 6,500 apartments or rental units under construction, and those will bring, on average, a 1 car per unit, maybe more. Currently, Maricopa does not have 6,500 jobs to offer the bulk of these residents, so guess what road they'll likely be using to access those jobs? Matter of fact, the current inability to move traffic well during peak hours on the 347 has absolutely been a factor for business attraction to our city. It is the state's responsibility to maintain this roadway and to make sure the infrastructure meets the demand of the city of Maricopa's residents. A reported 2023 AADT value on the ADOT traffic count website was just over 52,000. For reference, the location ID is 101622. Traffic counts of similar numbers are comparative to the counts on the 202 and the 101. So should this roadway be of comparative lane configuration? The answer, in my opinion, is yes. You should do the right thing and take care of a fast-growing community that contributes greatly to the Phoenix Valley. It is crucial that the widening project is added to the 5-year plan to fix an aging problem that will only get worse and much more expensive to fix the longer it is pushed out. Please help our residents. And I'd love to change my license plate.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
Alexander Kendrick, you are up with Supervisor Christensen and Katie Proctor on deck.
Thank you, Chairman and Board. I'm Alexander Kendrick. I'm the Assistant County Engineer for Gila County. I'm going to point out a few facts to you today. All of these, I'm going to run through pretty quick because we've got a short time. They're all on ADOT's page for the historical 5-year plans. So if you start with the 2012 one, you'll see that Lion Springs was put on there, project 21301. And it was put on there for 2016. The next year, it stayed on 2016. The following year, in the 2014 plan, it was already postponed by 2 years. It was now on the 2018 plan. The next one, pushed it back for a whole other year. It was now on the 2019 plan. Then, 2016, when it was supposed to start, it was pulled off the 5-year plan completely. It was added to the tentative 6 to 10-year plan. After the citizens of Pima County spoke up, it was put back on the plan, but it was put back on the plan in 2021 at the end of the 5-year plan again. Finally, in 2018, it was moved up to 2020, only to be pushed back again the very next year to 2021, where it was now split into the design in 2021 and the construction in 2023. For the next 2 years after that, it was pulled off the plans completely. It wasn't until our neighbors in District 5 realized that 260 was impacting Navajo and Apache counties in addition to Gila County, that it was even put back on the plan. It was put back on the plan and moved to, so after 10 years, it was put back on the plan. Now, you're asking us to move it back again if we go with this option to postpone Mine Springs in favor of 347. Pinal County is contributing $50 million, which is admirable, but they have 470,000 people with an additional 70,000 homes coming, so they're at over 500,000 people. That's $100 per person. Gila County has 50,000 people with an average median income of $50,000 a year. If there's 26 pay periods in a year, that means each one of us have to give up half of our pay period, or half of our paycheck. I recognize I'm out of time, so please let me encourage you. Whichever way you vote, drive out 260 today. You're here, take the time, go the extra miles on your way home, see what you're voting on, understand what you're making the decision on. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. Supervisor Christensen with Katie Proctor and Belle McDaniel on deck.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, fellow members. Welcome to Northern Gila County and Payson. We live it up here. And Alex, he's one of our finest. I guess he might have just described the proverbial stepchild. But the thing that I'm impressed about today is the amount of young people that spoke today. I thought that was really special. Lots of projects on your plate. I'm here really to just speak from my heart to your heart. Don't delay or prolong the Lion Springs project. I left you a package, all of you, and just within the last 21 days we've had multiple accidents and deaths. That's going to continue. The price is going to continue to go up. ADOT has built a beautiful 4-lane highway all the way from the valley to Coconino County, and we have a 5-mile stretch to complete that. My wife and I have lived here for over 35 years, and we remember when it was 2 lanes most of the way, and 2 lanes up the rim, and all the bridges you built, and all the wonderful things you did, and yet we have this choking point. And we just had an accident yesterday. We were out having a meal at a kind of an appreciation dinner at the county yard right there. And there was an accident within 100 yards of us right there. Head-on collision, and both directions were stopped. So it's a public safety issue. It's also about real people. There's, I provided you actual photos of people that are now dead that were alive a week ago. And so these are people in our community. So the need is there. That's obvious. So I'm just asking you to keep it secure in the schedule. It needs to be done. Whether you do it now or later is the difference between lives and dollars. So I appreciate very much you allowing me to speak. And thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Katie Proctor, you are up with Belle McDaniel and Rochelle J.P. Terrell on deck.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Katie Proctor, and I'm here on behalf of the City of Maricopa asking you to please include the 347 in your plan today. I spent almost 20 years of my life commuting through the Broadway Curve, and the only thing you could say about that commute every day was that you were going to have a lot of delays. Accidents, could be 30 minutes, could be an hour, who knew? Until about a month ago. And all of a sudden, everything opened up. And it's like the clouds parted, and I all of a sudden had a reliable, dependable way to get to my job downtown at the Capitol, and it was incredible. And that's thanks to really forward-thinking, visionary people who made that happen. And it reminds me of one of my other favorite projects too, which was the Nogales Flyover Bridge. A project that took traffic away from the border, up out of town, and made sure that commerce could flow without going through a school zone. And that project was defined by its local partnership between the city and the county and ADOT. And those two projects were transformational for their communities and for their regions. And I want you to know today that when you approve 347, you will also be creating a transformational project for our community and our region. There are people right now who are relying on you to make this happen because it's been too long already. And when you look back at Broadway Curve down the road, and when you look back down the road at the Nogales Flyover, what you look at is you look at it and think, gosh, this was always supposed to be this way. And 10 years from now, 5 years from now, people are going to drive on the 347, they're going to say the same thing. It was always supposed to be this way. And that's because of the actions that I hope you are going to take here today to make that work. You've heard from our residents and from our city council, and you've heard from the county, and you've heard from a plethora of people who have asked you to do this for many, many months, over many, many years. There are folks actually right now back in town at a watch party, if you can believe that, on a Friday morning. And I just want to show you really quickly, that's them. There are over 100 people watching our live stream on this, and then there's a group of folks sitting there right now cheering every time someone comes up and speaks about 347, because this means the world to our community and to our region. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Belle McDaniel, you are up with Rochelle, JP Terrell, and Gail Randolph on deck.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Belle McDaniel, and I serve as a council member for the town of Star Valley, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm here to urge you not to delay yet again the long overdue road expansion project in our town. For over 20 years, our community has been told that help is coming. We've waited patiently as the project has been postponed time and again, always with the hope that next year would finally be the year. Our narrow corridor is increasingly dangerous and congested. The data that I will be presenting is for the area between milepost 256 and 261, where the highway narrows to 2 lanes with no shoulder access. According to data from ADOT, between the years 2013 and 2018, we had an average of 26.4 crashes in each year with 0 fatalities. Also, according to ADOT, for the 5-year period between 2019 and 2024, we had 2 fatalities and somehow the same exact average of 26.4 crashes per year, which seems incredibly unlikely that in the last 5 years there has not been a significant increase in crashes with a significant increase in traffic that we've seen. This data does not seem to reflect the reality of what citizens are dealing with on a regular basis. And as I said, the ADOT data claims only 2 fatalities in the last 5 years, but data from the Payson Police Department for the same exact section of highway shows that there have actually been 18 fatalities in that time, not 2. And I can't understand how ADOT's data can be so far from the data provided by the police department. ADOT's data leaves 16 deaths unaccounted for. And these numbers may just be a statistic to ADOT, but they're real people with family and friends and loved ones who will never get to see them again, and their lives were changed forever. I also have data from ADOT regarding the project on State Route 347 between the mileposts 175 and 189 that this project concerns, that shows that there were 3.7 times the amount of traffic there as there are here, but there were only 14 fatalities in that section while we had 18 here in our section. And that shows that our corridor is by far the deadlier of the two and urgently needs to be addressed. And we have the opportunity right now to help prevent these great losses from continuing and provide greater security for our communities, and I'm asking you to make that choice today. Thank you for your time and your service to our state. I'm sorry, my voice got shaky.
Thank you, Councilmember McDaniel. Rochelle, JP Terrell, and Gail Randolph is on deck, along with Jeff Robbins.
Greetings, Arizona State Board of Transportation. My name is Rochelle J.P. Terrell, and I come up here like, wow, looking at my community come together to kind of show love for the widening project for the state, for the 347 widening project. I am a high school English teacher, and it's my #1 job to make sure that all of our students and young people are college and career ready. I want you to be aware of a hidden bias that is happening to our community. When we are preparing resumes for young students to go out into the community to start their lives and build a strong foundation, with sadness, we are advising them to take off our address and our zip code, because once employers see that our zip code 85138 is on their resumes, they can't automatically assume that they're going to be late for work. Our young people are not being judged based off of the content of the character or the merit of the skills that we've worked very hard to develop in our young people, I am asking you for your signatures to make sure that the 347 widening project please be put on the 5-year expansion plan so that we can put a stop to this unseen bias that is happening when our young people are trying to have an equal opportunity to start their lives. 347 is a lifeline, yes. It is also an escape. It is also a safe home. You heard from my husband earlier, Mr. Terrell. He's never going to talk about himself, but I witnessed him driving back and forth to his engineering job over at Intel. He is in that car 2 hours a day, in the morning and in the evening. That's 4 hours in the car. If he was a child, I would constitute that as a child abuse, being in the car that long. Please help my husband get to and from work in a timely manner and help our students make sure that they have a true, fair opportunity without any bias. The city of Maricopa deserves immediate relief, and we're asking for that. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Rochelle. Gail Randolph, you are up with Jeff Robbins and Vinny Gallegos on deck.
Hi, Madam Chair and board members. Thank you for the opportunity to let me speak today. I wanted to give a shout out, though, to the folks that are at the watch party. We're here today because you matter, and I'm so proud of you. Again, my name is Gail Randolph. Many in the community know me as G Money. I'm a longtime resident, a community advocate, and a HUD certified housing counselor who works every day with families trying to build stable lives in Maricopa and the surrounding area. I'm here to ask that the expansion of State Route 347 be prioritized and included in the 5-year plan. This isn't just about traffic. This is about equity, safety, and opportunity. Thousands of hardworking families travel the corridor daily, including me, many of whom commute long hours just to access jobs, education, and health care in the valley. The current state of State Route 347 is not only dangerous, it's a roadblock to economic mobility for a rapidly growing diverse population. Maricopa is one of the fastest growing cities in the state, and yet the infrastructure hasn't kept pace. That's unacceptable. The congestion, the accidents, the delays affect our seniors, our students, and working class families. We need a commitment, not just to concrete and asphalt, but to the people who rely on this road to survive and thrive. Please hear our voices today. Expand the State Route 347, make it part of your 5-year plan, and let's build a future that's connected, safe, and equitable for all. Thank you for the opportunity. And Copa.
Thank you, Gail, or if we may call you G Money as well. Jeff Robbins, you are up with Vinny Gallegos.
Can I have a extra time?
And Donna Johnson on deck.
Hi, Jeff, Pastor Jeff. Thank you for the time to speak. And I really appreciate Maricopa being such solidarity. I admire that. Obviously, both these projects are important to their communities for safety reasons. And I would argue a popular decision is not always the correct decision. But the Lion Springs project is vital. Theirs is important. We live. There's no side lanes for avoidance. We have an inordinate amount of head-on collisions because you can't avoid it. We have an inordinate amount of head-on collision fatalities. We have an extraordinary amount of animal strikes, wildlife strikes throughout the year, and because there's no place to avoid it. We have an undue amount
you have Sarah Lee.
Accidents.
That's the husband. She doesn't want to talk anymore.
Fatal
He's going to
because
replace Sarah Lee.
Unduly fatal because our first responders can't get to the scene. The response time normally is, in your town, probably short. On that road up there, if you or your loved one get in an accident, the response time, because there's nowhere for them to go, they're stuck in traffic, could be hours. And it turns an injury accident to a fatal accident. So this is pretty vital. An important conversation we're not having is freight choke points. In the United States, freight choke points are the primary focus for road improvements. That 260 up there was identified as a freight choke point years ago, and we have suffered. This whole conversation feels like a betrayal to us. They've been working on it 14 years. We've worked on it for 40 years. The state invested significant funds to build 4 lanes from Heber all the way to the top of the ramp. This project, Line Stream Express, is the final link of that resolves safety issues and freight issues in our state. That is a significant freight choke point, which causes backups to Fountain Hill sometimes, and to Shoal. And can you imagine your trip up there today, it was 1 lane and you're stuck behind a slow truck? You wouldn't be sitting there right now.
Thank you, Jeff. I do have to ask you to
every day.
Sorry.
Time's up?
Yes, thank
All
you.
right, thank you for consideration.
Thank you.
How about 3?
Thank you.
They're both important.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Vinny Gallegos, you are up with Donna Johnson and Susie Johnson on deck.
Good morning, Chair Daniels, members of the State Transportation Board, Vinny Gallegos, Executive Director of the Central Yavapai Metropolitan Planning Organization, or SIMPO for short. Definitely difficult days to talk, in these situations. We all have needs across Arizona, and it's tough to be talking in what feels like a competitive situation. We want to support each other, and we're definitely here to talk about the safety and capacity and efficiency needs in transportation. So, we started a campaign a little over a dozen years ago on State Route 69 between the towns of Prescott Valley and Prescott. And much like our friends across the state in Maricopa and throughout Arizona came to you, and that project's underway, and we want to express our gratitude for the safety and capacity improvements, and that project's on target to have a 1-mile widening in the city of Prescott later on this year. So the widening's been done, the median project is being put in, and we want to thank you. The next thing we'd like to put on your radar, and Yavapai County Supervisor Chris Kuknio is with me today. He'll be speaking when you call him a little bit later. He sits on our executive board, and he actually started on that Highway 69 project about 11 years ago when he was a council member. Now he's a county supervisor. And the project that he'll be talking a little bit more about is Highway 89 and 89A. It's an on-ramp project. We were successful in working with the state legislature a few years ago to get that project fully funded for design and construction. It's about 3 years ago. It's about a $5.5 million project. State legislature came back the next year and swept the funds for construction and moved it to other needed projects. So where we sit today is a project that is fully designed as of earlier this year. It's estimated to be $5.5 million, and the locals are willing to contribute about $1 million towards that project. So we're looking for additional help on that, and Supervisor Kuknio will speak about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vinny. I have, it's either Dana or Donna Johnson. I'm sorry, I was saying Donna, but a closer look.
She wanted to be taken off.
She does, okay. All right, Susie Johnson with Greg Doan and Lance Marble on deck.
Welcome to Payson. I've lived here in the Gila County area for 40 plus years. I've utilized Highway 260 most of my adult life for recreation, and I was a business owner, and I'm a 30-year contract mail carrier that utilizes that highway 7 days a week. I can't tell you how many near misses, rear view mirrors that have been torn off from ongoing traffic. One of my major concerns out there is there are no shoulders. There is nowhere to go. Please, I invite you to take a drive out there. In one area and stretch of that highway, there's a canyon and a mountain. If you miss the car, you're probably going to hit or go, you're going to be hurt terribly there. As you know, you've read all the statistics. All of that's been presented to you today. I hope you all take that into account when you make your decision about where the money's going to be spent. I heard one statistic today that concerns me. You were talking about the amount of traffic that goes down other highways and state highways in this. We are a very small community, but we have tens of thousands of cars that come out of Maricopa County up to enjoy our area. It used to be we only utilized or saw that on weekends. We see that 7 days a week now. So please consider that. Just because we are a small community, that highway has an incredible amount of traffic, and it's not just cars. It's semis, it's vehicles pulling trailers, and it's extremely dangerous. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Greg? Greg Dillon? Lance Marble? Are you Greg?
I'm Lance.
Lance. All right, come on up, Lance. I want name tags for everybody.
My name is Lance Marble, 36-year resident of Arizona, 5 of those in Payson. Not only have a number of Arizonans been killed in accidents, which potentially would not have happened if Lion Springs would not have been shelved by previous boards for the last 20 plus years, delaying this project continues to create significant issues with regard to first responder response times for accidents, fire suppression efforts, and potential evacuation access to people who live here as well as those who visit the area. I believe it's impossible to understand what happens in the mountains around here, especially in the summer, unless you get out and drive around on roads like Forest Road 300 and the roads that feed it before it connects to 260 and 87. There are literally tens of thousands of people from all over Arizona, but especially the valley, in the woods off 260. If you really want to understand the impact, stay for the afternoon and especially the early evening after people from the valley have had time to get up here today, and park at the intersection of Dealer's Choice and SR 260, where multiple people have been injured and died in the past 2 weeks. Come back and park at intersection of SR 260 and 300, where others have been injured and died recently. It is also compounded by the recent and dramatic increase in tractor-trailer traffic. Maricopa has done an excellent job of prioritizing Lion Springs by pointing out the amount of time both projects have been on hold, access to assets that Gila County does not have, and comparing the number of lives lost annually on both roads. They have also pointed out that you have 2 options that can save lives and 1 that can improve asphalt. For the sake of lives to be saved, select option 3. Thank you to the staff for identifying it.
Thank you, Lance. We have Supervisor Chris Kuknio, and on deck will be Manager James Menlove and retired Fire Chief John Wisner. Sorry I didn't give you much notice.
No, and it's hard to hear in that hallway,
Okay.
but Board Chair, I am Supervisor Chris Kuknio, Yavapai County District 4. A lot of similar themes going through this whole deal today, but I'm here to talk about State Route 89 on-ramps. This is where 89 and 89A come together. And 3 years ago, we were funded fully for design and construction. And then 2 years ago, the legislators swept the money for the construction portion, but we pushed ahead for design, and design was completed in February of this year. As we say, it's a shovel-ready program, it's ready to go. It was supposed to be starting next month, basically fiscal year 26, and it fell out. It's a relatively low-cost project in the grand scheme of things, and this could be a very quick fix for ADOT and the area. Both the county and the city of Prescott have committed funds, because it's always good to throw in on these projects and not just say, give us money. We'd like to have you guys commit to help us see this project completed. Hope the board and ADOT will see that the wisdom of this project and support its completion with the funding. It's the 89 on-ramps connecting 89 and 89A. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. We have Manager Menlove. On deck, retired Fire Chief John Wisner, and Lisa Lamoureux.
Good morning, Chairman Daniels, members of the board. Thank you for your service. Having worked in public service my whole life, it's important what you do, and your contributions to the state of Arizona are significant. I wanted to give appreciation to the Arizona Department of Transportation. In the past few years, we have constructed in Gila County the Tonto Creek Bridge. Tonto Creek Bridge was an essential safety issue for us in south of Payson. Recently, we were recognized for that bridge in Washington, D.C. for the design of that bridge. We were partners with ADOT, and ADOT managed that project for us. Next month, we will be recognized by the American Public Works Association for the project of the year for that bridge. So thank you, ADOT, and you for your partnership with Gila County. I do want to point out I'm really surprised at all the people from Maricopa that have come up here. But then when it gets to 110 degrees in the valley, what better place to come than Payson, Arizona? I want to point out that, and it's been mentioned, that this has been a project, Lion Springs, that has been ongoing for nearly half a century. And this is the last piece that's required for that. I want to express appreciation also to the town of Maricopa and Pinal County. $50 million, that's huge. I appreciate them coming up with that. It makes things a lot better for all of us. So thank you to them for stepping up and offering to contribute to that project. I've looked at our finances in Gila County and, well, what can we do? Can we perhaps partner with ADOT financially? And I look at Gila County, we are 96.5% of our land mass is public, meaning only 3.5% of our land is private. That means 3.5% is all that's taxable. That's why Gila County has the top tax rate in Arizona, $4.19. I would encourage, I didn't know option 3 was on the table, but I think that's a viable thing. We all need to go to the state legislature when they have additional funds to lobby them to allocate those extra dollars as they did a few years ago to pavement preservation. So thank you.
Thank you, Manager. John Wisner, if I'm saying that right, or correct me.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
And it is no accident we are in Payson in June and Flagstaff in July this year.
My name's John Wisner. As it says there, I'm the former fire chief of Hell's Gate Fire District, where Lion Springs segment lies within that fire district. I really don't know what to say to this board today to make you understand that it needs to be done. I've thought of many things. I thought of, would you have a college young person in your family that said, I'm only 1 credit away, it's a good time to quit. I don't think any of you would go for that. So I'm just frustrated. I have begged this board, I have pleaded with this board in 2018 and 2019 just to have this project put back on again and taken off again, and some sort of bipolar staff recommendations coming out of this. You need to get this project done, folks. People are dying, lives are at risk, communities are being choked. It just needs to get done. What you can do in Arizona and what you can't do in Arizona. Well, I can start my career in early 1990s and completely finish it as the fire chief. Start as a volunteer, finish as the fire chief with a state pension, and live up here in the same time that you guys can't finish a 5-mile segment of highway and you keep kicking it down the road. We have the freshmen in the room that come to school and they don't like the school lunch. And us seniors are saying, yeah, the lunch sucks. But you're going to have to figure out how to change it. Well, 347 definitely needs to be fixed. But so does Lion Springs segment. It needs to be fixed. You're going to have to tell your staff once in a while, we don't like your recommendations. You're going to just have to go back, fix these projects. Tell someone in Maricopa County that lane on that freeway is going to have to wait. Something else you can get done in no time at all, you can fix the Broadway curve. You can pat yourself on the back. But you can't fix a 5-mile segment in Arizona. So maybe these people have been to carrot, maybe I'm the stick, but folks, It's time to finish this job. Leaders lead. You're a board. Lead. Lead your staff. Take their recommendations, but say enough is enough.
Thank you, John. Lisa Lamoureux, you are up with Supervisor Shepherd and Maria Reich on deck.
Hello, I've been coming up this 260 my entire life. We now live up here full time. And I can tell you, I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody come over the yellow line and you're looking, there's no place to go. I recently broke down about 3 months ago on the 260, just completely shut down. All I could do was coast. There's no place to go. I sat on that road with 2 tires on the highway waiting for a tow truck for 3 hours. We have been waiting well over 20 years for this project, and it just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. I don't know how many lives you expect for us to lose before you actually take action and get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Supervisor Shepherd with Maria Reich and Councilmember Duker on deck.
Thank you, Chairwoman Daniels and board members. My name is Alton Joe Shepherd. I am a county board supervisor for Apache County, and as you know, I travel along with you guys to many places throughout the state. I also wear other hats as well as an ACOG regional chair person, and also president-elect of our County Supervisors Association. But I come here today just giving my 2 cents worth into trying to defend my area as far as I know that there is a need across the state. And a lot of times, you know, some of us people that are local people think that, you know, the simple thing in understanding how ADOT has to operate and how it gets its funds, you know, it could be simplified. And what a lot of us leaders have been asking for is that when is the time going to come to amend the fuel excise tax across the state? That will solve a lot of the problems. And I'm hoping that that echoes to a lot of our state legislatures that are down in the valley that have to determine and pick and choose the politics of their projects too. So, but today I come to you in support of, you know, I think alternative 1 basically is leaving it to the staff, data-driven, coming up with projects. But when we get down to alternative 2, I know that we're getting into trying to provide some solutions. I use 260 all the time, and if there's an accident, it shuts down, and I have to go all the way around sometimes down to Glebe or back around to Flagstaff. But I'm mainly here to question as far as alternative 3. There's a section in there, I-40 Carreno to Hawthorne, that's being eliminated or deferred down. But a lot of it has to do, and that's really in my area, and that's what I wanted to defend. Is there any other projects that can substitute that and leave this project as is and move it forward? So that's my 2 cents ask for the board, and if that's an alternative or something that can be looked at before it's finalized, I would really appreciate that. And again, thank you for this time.
Thank you, Supervisor Shepherd. Maria Reich or Reach? All right, we'll move to Councilmember Dennis Duker. And on, let's see, on deck will be Alyssa Marshall.
Hello, my name is Dennis Duker. I'm councilman out of Star Valley. I also run the Payson Airport, did 30 years with General Motors and Proving Ground as a maintenance supervisor and a plant engineer. Also worked for Orange County for several years. So I'm aware of government, I'm aware of roads, and what I'm looking at, I heard that we got $70 million for the project 347 from private and from local government. So that's a good head start on their project. But Lion Springs, we're a small community. We don't have the advantage of raising that kind of money. So what I'm asking you guys to do is to go back and look at these projects with people from the towns and see if there's ways we can save money and still make these roads safe. I heard something about a lot of the accidents on 347 are rear-end collisions. Lion Springs are mostly always head-on. So we need to look at both these projects, come together, and see if we can rework them. One of the things out there on the 260 is we have a beautiful overpass for wildlife. Maybe we can come up with a different idea for that. That would obviously save some money. But I'm asking you guys to get some local people together with some knowledge and see if we can't figure out a way to lower the prices so that we can carry on with both these projects. We may need to phase them in. We may not be able to get them completed all at once. But we just need government to take a look at the way to make our highways safer with some common sense. So did I make it under my 3?
You did great.
Awesome. Thank you.
And thank you for the additional documents. I'll make sure that these also are part of the record.
Give me a call.
Thank you. All right, we have Alyssa Marshall up with Jimmy Lee and on deck.
Hi, my name is Alyssa. I'm a dentist serving the Payson and the surrounding community. I was not planning on speaking here today, but as I was watching, I was called to speak. I have 2 daughters, 5 and 7 years old, and this Sunday, Father's Day, I had to sit them down and have the conversation and tell them that they had lost a friend. Her name was Zen, and there was a car accident that claimed Zen's life along with her mother's, Anila's life, leaving their father and their baby sister behind. Their family has been torn apart, and my daughter, along with many others, and this redheaded girl right here, she's Zen. She gave the sweetest hugs. She would hold you really tight. She had the best laugh. And we lost her too early. They had spent Father's Day at the lake. And on their way out, they were T-boned, and the number in the family has gone down to half. In the past month alone, there's been 7 fatal car accidents, and at least 3 of them were multiple fatalities. That means we lost in the past month at least 10 lives to that road. I am not sure how many lives need to be claimed for us to say this project cannot be pushed back any longer, but if 10 lives in a month is not enough, I do not know how many is. The accidents and the reason we are asking for this road to be worked on, it is not just for our townspeople. This road is heavily used by the people from all over Arizona and heavily from Phoenix coming up to enjoy the nature up there. And it is no longer safe. I just urge you to please, we've lost enough lives. And yes, 347, I hear that it is a really bad area. I get that. But I also heard that...
I apologize, Dr. Marshall. I have to ask you to wrap up. The 2 minutes has expired.
Okay, thank you.
I apologize.
But I've heard that it's been claiming approximately 5 lives a year, and we lost 10 in a month. And so this is just, yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. Jimmy Lee with Greg Doan and Maria Reich on deck.
Hi, how are you? Pleased to be here to address this commission. My name is Jimmy Lee. I'm a resident here in Payson. Before I came and moved here, I was a former assistant to the governor in the state of Illinois. And I was also the director of strategic initiatives for the White House under the Bush administration. The only reason I'm saying that is because I understand how policy affects some of these decisions. And I know that you've heard from a number of people here today about changes and about funding priorities. And I'm here to tell you that the priority that my friend Alyssa just spoke of today here in the 260 is something that is vitally important to our community. And so I'm not here today as a person who worked in government. I am here today as a resident of Payson, in the place where I call home. And so I just wanted to read the statement that I put together for each of you. So bear with me. And I apologize for my attire. I usually dress a little bit better when I'm presenting to a commission, so I apologize for that. So.
It's not the White House.
Yeah, I am so glad that I don't like wearing suits anymore. So, my wife and I recently lost a close friend, and so this kind of came as a result of that. The recent loss of my close friend on State Route 260 near Payson is a tragic reminder of the urgent need for improved safety on this critical highway. Since the beginning of this year, there have been close to 10 accidents reported on this stretch of road, continuing a pattern of dangerous conditions that have claimed too many lives. I'm aware that the Arizona Department of Transportation is already working on several projects to address the dangers along this corridor, including widening shoulders, improving guardrails, and making pavement repairs. My hope is that as you're looking at this final design phase for this particular stretch of road, and as you're trying to add travel lanes and construct wildlife crossovers, that this become a priority for you. This is not I hope that this is not something that you just discussed today, but that you work to expedite the implementation of all this planned safety measures. And so the reason why I'm writing this is because I'm reading and I'm getting text messages from individuals, family members of a mother who died this past week. Her and her daughter died on that stretch of road because somebody...
Jimmy, forgive me for interrupting. We have reached your time
Oh,
limit.
okay. So
I feel inadequate
I just hope
actually
you guys
telling
will
you
do
that.
Okay, so but thank you very much.
Thank you. I have called two names that have not come to the podium yet, so this is last call for Greg Doan and Maria Reich. Okay, we will now move to those who are on the WebEx. That completes the in-person. I just want to confirm that we didn't miss any cards. All right, Bryce, we're going to need your help. I think it's Bryce, right?
It's
Bryce?
Victoria
Oh,
this
I
time.
apologize. Victoria. Victoria, our first individual to speak is Shantae Rothschild, and on deck will be Miranda Sweet.
Ms. Rothschild, please raise your hand. Victoria, do you see? Do you see Ms. Rothschild?
Turned off because I'm not seeing.
Will you please remind the callers what they use to raise their hand if they're not on the WebEx service? Is it *6? I think. Is that correct? *6 to raise your hand? Or
It is actually it should be *3 to raise your hand and lower, and then it's *6 to unmute your line.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't see Ms. Rothschild unless she's one of those people who just called in and just has a phone number.
Okay. We'll call Mr. or Mrs. It's Shantae Rothschild in just a moment. Miranda Sweet, could you please raise your hand? And on deck will be Devin Pitcher. Their battery might have died.
They may have already signed off.
Okay, we'll move on to Devin Pitcher. Is Devin Pitcher on the line?
Not.
Okay, moving on. Mina Marcos. Mina Marcos, can you raise your hand, please?
It'll be a *3. No.
All right. Kelly Anderson.
You have Mina.
Okay, Mina.
Mina, your mic is now unmuted.
Mina, just a reminder, there's a 2-minute limit.
Good morning for the record. Mina Marcos, Management Analyst for the Town Manager's Office. On behalf of the town of Sahuarita, I'd like to extend my sincere appreciation to the State Transportation Board, and especially the South Central District Engineer and Administrator for their support of the Duval Mine Project as a district mine project. We are excited by this news and grateful for your support and quick response in helping us move forward with addressing the bridge's challenges and safety concerns. With the project application now approved and moving to the next phase, including it being assigned to an ADOT project manager and going through the regular project delivery process, again, we remain optimistic that the project will reach its construction phase within FY26. We truly appreciate, again, board members, your support for funding the local projects like the Duval Mine Project through the District Miner Project Program. We look forward to working together and fostering this great partnership as the project progresses. Thank you once again for your continued support and commitment to improving infrastructure in the Sahuarita community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mina.
Thank you.
Do we have Kelly Anderson on the WebEx?
Yes.
Kelly, you are up.
Kelly, your mic is now unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Kelly.
Perfect. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. As the director of the Greater Maricopa Business Alliance, Maricopa Chamber of Commerce, I can affirm with confidence that our board of directors, our member businesses, and all businesses in the city of Maricopa support the widening of State Route 347, and we implore this board to add it to the 5-year plan without delay or hesitation. The economic growth implications for the south end of 347 are obvious, but I ask that you also consider the tens of thousands of employees from our south side that power and propel businesses and industry in Maricopa County. The safety and well-being of all our employees, team members, and their families is paramount, and it transcends county and city life. Time wasted while staff and deliveries sit on a broken and outdated state highway costs businesses in both Pinal and Maricopa counties untold thousands of dollars a year. However, that cost is negligible when the road, by way of its congestion and inefficiency, contributes to the loss of the lives of our friends, families, and coworkers. I've not heard mention of the impact on local and extended travel tourism. Throngs of families from the valley traverse the State Route 347, passing through our communities on the south end to make memories in Rocky Point or on the California coast. How many families have delayed or canceled travel because of the danger, inconvenience, and unreliability of 347? How much economic impact do the lost revenues to restaurants, grocery stores, and gas stations cost? And those costs to the economy extend far beyond the greater Maricopa footprint. What about all the other towns, communities, and businesses along the route to those memories? The State Route 347 might be the longest driveway in the state, but it's our driveway. It's a driveway to a vibrant, energetic, amazing, and resilient community. A community not made up of only the residents and businesses of the city of Maricopa, but also Hidden Valley, Thunderbird Farms, Black Chin, Stanfield, and Mobile. It's also the path to memories for thousands of families each year. The 347 impacts more than just the homes and businesses attending to the driveway. It impacts multiple cities, counties, states, and even countries. We all deserve at the very least that the Arizona Department of Transportation and this board place the widening and overall safety and efficiency of State Route 347 on the 5-year plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Joanne Keene, are you on the WebEx? And can you raise your hand, please? Victoria, do you see Deputy Manager
Yes.
Keene? Thank you.
Hi, Joanne, your mic is unmuted.
Joanne, are you available to speak?
Victoria, does Joanne have to do, is she on the phone or something? Does she have to do *6 to unmute as well?
She's gonna have to unmute herself. Yes, *6.
Joanne, can you hear us? We cannot hear you. All right, Victoria, we'll move to Stacy Martin.
Okay.
Stacy Martin, it looks like, is calling in by phone. Stacy, *3 to raise your hand. Any luck, Victoria?
No.
Okay, I'm going to do one last call for the remaining names that have requested to speak but have not. If any of these individuals are on the phone, if they want to hit *3 to raise their hand, and then they can just introduce themselves at that point. Shante Rothschild, Miranda Sweet.
Okay.
Ms. Rothschild just
One
logged in.
moment. I have Shante.
Okay.
Your mic is unmuted, Shante.
Are you able to hear me?
We can. Please proceed.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm Shante Rothschild, a lifelong Arizonan, school board member in Maricopa, and a political organizer. But above all else, I'm a mother, daughter, wife, and proud grandmother. 4 months ago, my son and daughter-in-law gave me the most beautiful gift. Don't tell my other kids, but my granddaughter, Ari. She's amazing. Holding her for the first time, I felt overwhelming love and a renewed sense of responsibility. Everything I do now is about creating a stronger, safer future for her and every child growing up in our community. And that's why I'm here today. I was overjoyed when my daughter began her journey to become a teacher, but made the heartbreaking decision to leave Maricopa, not because she didn't love our city, but because of the 347. She feared it, and I understood why. I've been that parent. I've gotten that call that no one wants to hear. Your child has been in an accident on the 347. That moment changed everything for me. The fear, the helplessness, it stays with you. And that fear isn't unique to my family. This road connects us to communities, healthcare, education, and to one another, but right now it's pushing people away. As a political organizer, I advocate for solutions. As a grandmother, I advocate for love. Please add State Route 347 to the 5-year plan. Our families are counting on you. Our future depends on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shante. Last call for...
Joanne.
Is that Joanne Keene you have?
Yes.
Whose phone is ringing?
Sorry about that.
Do you have Joanne?
Yes, you have Joanne.
Yes, we can hear you, Joanne. Please proceed. Go ahead. We lost you. Okay, last call for Miranda Sweet. Devin Pitcher.
Okay.
Is that Joanne?
It's Joanne.
Please speak.
Yes.
Yep, proceed.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm having issues with unmuting. Well, good afternoon, I guess it's still morning. My name is Joanne Keene, and I'm a Deputy City Manager for the City of Flagstaff. I'm here representing the city and also Metro Plan. Our Vice Mayor had to hang up due to other commitments, but we appreciate the opportunity today to talk about our Arizona Smart Fund application that'll be up next. And a request for a partial match for a raise grant for the Butler Fourth Safety and Multimodal Improvements Project. The City of Flagstaff was awarded a $19 million raise grant in January 2025, and we are one of 3 awardees in Arizona. The Butler Fourth project modernizes transportation network, works to streamline traffic flow, reduce delays, and improve safety for all users. This area has high traffic volumes and is an important designated truck route that hosts a truck stop and hotel with separate overnight truck parking. This project addresses safety issues for truck drivers to navigate the corridor both on foot and in their trucks. In fact, when we submitted this grant, we had a very strong support letter from the Arizona Truckers Association. The RACE program is one of the most competitive federal discretionary programs in the nation, and the city of winning this award speaks to the merit of our project. Our application is for $3.8 million in match dollars, and we're providing $9 million in our own local funds towards the total project, which is a cost of $32 million. Since the time of the RAISE application award to the city, there has been a $4 million increase in cost, which is why the city is requesting this funding to complete the project. While we understand there may not be enough money in the AZ Smart Fund to meet our full request, we will be grateful for any assistance from the board for this application. And we've been working hard to educate the legislature on the need to capitalize the AZ Smart program. So we respectfully request that you approve the City of Flagstaff's AZ Smart application, and we thank the state of Arizona for making this important investment so we can continue to leverage federal funds for our communities. And thank you for all of your support on the State Transportation Board. I know it's an incredibly difficult job. So thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. All right, Devin Pitcher and Stacy Martin. Those are the last two I have from the online option, I think.
Devin or Stacy, if you are on the phone, please press *3 to raise your hand.
Going once, going twice. All right, thank you. And thanks to everybody for participating and everybody being so respectful of the 2-minute limit. I think it was really helpful, so very much appreciate all of your efforts to do so. At this time, I will entertain a motion from the board to recess our State Transportation Board meeting and reconvene an executive session.
So move.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I expect this will be brief, not to belabor, but to be brief. And Board Member Hermosillo and Searle, we will call you on your cell phones.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, we are in recess. Thank you. That's awesome. We did good.
2 hours.
Figure we might need a bio break too.
You think?
Hi there.
Can you tell me, is the intention to take a vote on the options when you come out of executive session?
It's up to the board, but we have the option, given how it's agendized,
Right.
to
Or you might wait till the end of the meeting, or you might
No,
not
we
decide
would
it.
probably do it right away. Take care of agenda item 5. We don't like to delay these.
Okay.
Especially with all the people here.
We would not yet.
Yeah, I'm going to take
If we're going to take a vote or action
Yeah,
right away.
right away.
Finish 5. Absolutely.
There's a room down this way. I don't know if they told you all that.
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
I'm Adam with ABC 15.
Oh, nice to meet
Can I
you.
put this right here?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
You don't want to. You never know.
Hey, Victoria, this is Floyd. We're going to be getting ready to start here in just a few minutes. Can you hear us?
Victoria, can you hear us in the room?
So, Victoria, this is Floyd. Can you hear us?
I already organized them for you. Thanks. Do you like that list? Call me after. Okay. Or ask me after. All right. I keep wanting to answer that phone.
Yeah.
To help out, you know?
It's annoying.
So Victoria, this is Floyd. Can you hear us?
We can hear you now.
Perfect.
We just want to confirm that board members Hermosillo and Searle are back online as well.
This is Richard. I'm here.
And there's a call-in user. Okay, so that's Ms. Hermosillo is the call-in user. Okay. Perfect. That's
Yes.
perfect. Thank you.
All right, we are reconvening in our normal board meeting at this time. And it is time for the board to deliberate. So I look to my board members. Would anyone like to start?
Really? Madam Chair.
Just get it over with.
Madam Chair.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Tonight, this is for Floyd. Right now, the screen I'm seeing is alternative 3. It would be better if I could see the dais, if I could.
Yeah, we could do that. I just wasn't sure if you wanted to go back to that, if you wanted to reference that in the deliberation. But
I think for the discussion, it would be better if we could see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's better. Thank you.
He wants to see our facial expressions.
I do. I really want to see what you got to say.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Shall we?
Vice Chair.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. First off, to the staff, great job putting these things together. This is easily the biggest turnout and the biggest discussion I've ever seen at a state transportation board in 5 years. And it hasn't been a short process either, especially for those folks in Maricopa. But I'm going to tell you, I was really impressed with how quickly organized the Lion Springs community came, not only with people, but also with the data. And it was very interesting. But I do really want to thank the staff and the director for how you kind of read the room, and I'm not talking this room, but you talk about the sense of the board, the sense that we've had building over the last several months. I personally, and trust me, in Pima, as the representative from Pima County in my roles as on the Regional Transportation Authority Board, dealing with pavement preservation is the number one issue we've got down there. So I understand concerns about us doing that. What I appreciate about the pavement preservation program is it is much more fluid. We can address things when they happen, and I really appreciated Greg having the answer for what's the current road conditions. Because as things change, we've got the ability, and we can make a lot of adjustments. On the 5-year plan and on project-specific things, it's much more difficult, not impossible. I personally believe alternative 3 is, because of that, is the best solution. Because we've heard today we've got 2 significant safety issues on 2 significant roads, maybe different traffic levels. But when you look at, start judging, is the smaller road that maybe doesn't have quite as much traffic, but more fatalities, is it a percentage, is it a total? It doesn't matter. They're both roads that are having parts of those roads expanded, and now it's a bottleneck. And anybody who travels I-10 up between Tucson and Phoenix, that's the biggest chaos we have for accidents, is not on the I-10, it's on the I-10 where it expands and gets wider and expands and gets wider. So I would personally suggest we consider moving alternative 3 into the 5-year plan. I'm glad it happened now. I'm glad we're not taking it on one project at a time, and I really appreciate all the effort. And an incredible job of getting through, call the audience, 53 speakers in 2 hours is remarkable. And that means it was a good job by the speakers as well.
Thank you,
That's
Vice
my
Chair. Board Member Pashtakai?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to my colleagues. Thank you to everybody that is here. I think Member Maxwell expressed his appreciation to the folks that worked on this. And then also, I want to let you know I appreciate all that are here. You travel from long ways on very difficult roads. And it takes a lot of courage, and I think you see each other, and that's what's important to me. Each of you is concerned about your communities, your loved ones, and so many households, we all have the same concerns, no matter where you live. And so I appreciate all of you for speaking and doing your civic duty by coming here. And not everybody can because they're working or they're hauling water or, fighting wildfires. And so thank you for that. For me, it is a tough decision, but I like the alternative 2 just because it's less impactful on my district, District 5. And so I don't want to, everybody's important. It's just a hard decision to make. And I just want to say that I appreciate all of you and all that you do. Ekeha.
Thank you, Board Member Pashtakai. Board Member Elters?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Difficult decision it is. My thoughts are the following. I do understand the need for SR 347 and the concerns related to that. I acknowledge the substantial local financial contributions that have been made. And I also recognize and know that significant improvements have been made on SR 347 over the years to improve it. Additionally, I know from past experience that SR 260 has been in the program for improvements, and that's been 2 decades going. It's a corridor that is in need, serves northeastern Arizona, as well as many from other areas of the state, primarily the central Arizona area, seasonal traffic, summer, winter, and in between. And it was prioritized by prior boards with a commitment to complete a corridor. That corridor is complete except for the one segment that remains uncompleted. And I believe it justifies our attention and support. I also know that staff has done a remarkable job in presenting different priorities for the board to consider, and the staff's primary responsibility, first and foremost, is to preserve this wonderful transportation system that we have. And knowing that there are north of $400 million a year in the system preservation, the staff who is committed, dedicated to ensure that our transportation system is well preserved will have ultimate flexibility in the flow of projects in a shorter duration, which is 2 years usually for system preservation, to address those pavement preservation projects that are being contemplated for in one of the alternatives. So with all that said, I cannot consciously support one project over the other. They're both critical and both need to move forward, and trusting that the staff will take care of system preservation. I do believe in my heart that alternative 3 is the best alternative given the needs that we have. And Madam Chair, I will end with, it remains necessary to take the passion that has been brought into the board meetings in this last 4 or 5 board meetings and today, and keep it alive and take it to our legislatures, because ultimately what we program is what is given to us as a board. We don't get to decide. And I hope you all know the reason we're agonizing here today is that the needs far exceeds the resources. So keep the passion alive, carry it forward to those decision makers, because we only allocate what we have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Board Member Alters. Board Member Howard?
Thank you. And I will continue on with that last sentence. A shortfall of $4 billion a year over the next 25 years. That's a big number. I am truly amazed at what staff does more with less every year. Everyone in this state uses our road system. As taxpayers, if we desire amenities and improvements, we as taxpayers obviously fund those amenities and improvements to some degree. Our transportation revenue stream is broken in many facets. You guys have heard it meeting after meeting. Our excise tax for fuel is from the 90s. We have no sales tax on fuel. It's a flat tax per gallon sold. We have EV vehicles coming up. Nothing's been done as far as their... We've all heard the story. You as voters and users of the highway system need to assist us with legislation and our legislators to make hard decisions, because it's only going to get worse year after year after year. I feel like we are the mothers of 6 kids and we open the refrigerator door and there's 1 piece of bread left. And we have to decide which child is going to get that piece of bread and which other 5 children are going to go hungry. And it's getting old. We don't like making these decisions at all. And lives are being lost in our state. And it's mostly due to... So 85% of traffic crashes are mostly driver behavior. But when there's a scenario that's been created to cause driver behavior, then there's some responsibility to take there as well. And our ADOT staff knows that's our responsibility as well to some degree. But when we don't have the funds coming to us to dedicate, to save lives, and to help those who drive our streets and our roads, we need your help. Something's got to be done. We've asked our legislators time and time again in meetings, what are we going to do? And it's crickets at this point. I am so thankful for all the bills that are before us this year, because it's making these projects happen. When Mr. Kendrick spoke, I lost count at 8 times that the 260's been taken off and put back on the plan over the years. I drive the 347 every time I'm in that area just to see, and it scares me, literally. I drove the 260 this morning, my husband and I, before the meeting, and the turning lanes that are needed, the blind spots before you turn, it's needed. They're both needed to a very heavy degree. Maintenance is needed. Our maintenance in our state is lacking. Again, back to our broken funding stream. Our roads are only going to get worse when it comes to our maintenance if something isn't done. So one of the projects, the Highway 70 projects, I drive at least 5 times a week. So I'm directly impacted as well as far as this maintenance goes. So with that being said, and I thank you, Maricopa, for the years and years, and Gila County for the years you guys have put in attending these meetings with the compassion that you have for your residents and your people to make us understand the importance and to help us understand the importance. But we should not be here today making this decision. With that being said, I feel very strongly about going with alternative number 3 as well. Both these projects need to be built. And I'm hoping with that being said that the director and staff put these other 3 maintenance projects totaling $91 million as a priority to try and bring these back as soon as we can to keep up on those maintenance. That they were selected for a reason during this process. They met the criteria, and I think we need to take them seriously and bring them back as soon as we can with the available funds. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Board Member Howard. Board Member Searle?
Thank you, Chair Daniels. I'll make this, very quick. I'm very appreciative that staff came up with some options. This is the first time they've done this for us. And I think it shows how important this decision is for this next 5-year plan. I cannot support alternative 2. Lion Springs has been kicked down the road too many times. So with that said, I really think it's Board Member Howard's district. She should make the motion, but I would support a motion for alternative 3.
Thank you, Board Member Searle. Board Member Hermosillo? Board Member Hermosillo, do you have any comments you'd like to make at this time? Victoria's Board Member Hermosillo stuck on mute, maybe *3. Now I know the numbers.
No, she shows that she's unmuted.
You are unmuted. How about now?
Yep, you sound great.
Perfect. I was talking to myself for a couple minutes. Thank you so much for thank you so much for giving me the time to speak on this item. It was a very difficult decision to make because going into this this meeting, I was definitely leaning on alternative 2 because of the balance that it brought between all 3 alternatives and also wanting to honor the commitments that we've had on other projects. However, listening to comments from the public and understanding the importance of both SR 260 and SR 347, they're both very, very important. And it was really heartbreaking to try to pick which communities' projects are more important. And safety is one of those things that it's important regardless of which community you belong to. And so, with that said, I'm going to lean toward supporting alternative 3, but I also want to make it very clear that it's important for me to continue moving forward to advocate for all the communities in Arizona, not just a few. But again, I really appreciate everyone who spoke today and giving their time to advocate for their communities and what's important to them. So, thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Hermosillo. I really appreciate. Oh, yes,
Chair?
yes. Board Member Peshikai?
Yeah, I need to correct my vote.
Oh, we haven't voted yet.
Oh, okay.
You want to correct your comment, though?
Yeah, I
Okay.
want to correct my comment
Okay.
because I was looking at alternative, I got alternative 2 and 3
Mixed up.
Okay. Because I'm looking at this screen. So my vote would be, and my comment was meant for alternative 3.
Thank
Sorry.
you. No, thanks for clarifying.
And sorry, I almost choked.
I'm just so glad you're okay. I was going to call you a recess. You needed it.
I was wondering if it was that $4 billion annually that
Causes us all to choke.
Can I make one comment? Madam Chair, thank you. I appreciate Member Elders and Member Howard bringing up the thing. This board has talked over the last 2-3 years about the need to modernize our infrastructure funding mechanisms. It's broke, It's broke for so many reasons. I greatly appreciate the fact that the legislature stepped forward and picked the projects they want to get done and put that money forward, but that's not how the system's supposed to work. The system's supposed to work, that's what this board, working in conjunction with this department, with ADOT, is the one that prioritizes that, so that all can be represented, not just the ones that happen to have folks who have opportunities to get money into this through the state legislature. And the only way we're going to do that, as a matter of fact, there were some bills this year that were trying to limit the options of what we could even look at for if there was going to be a modernization. We have to open the discussion, have an open conversation on the modernization of our infrastructure funding quickly. And if I do have the opportunity to be the chair next year as it's programmed, I guarantee it's going to be a topic that I'm going to want to have. But I really want to thank both of you for bringing that part up today as part of today's discussion. Because you shouldn't have to go through what you have to go through to get us to fund what's correct and what needs to be funded.
Thank you, Vice Chair Maxwell. Just as a summary, and I think you've probably heard it all at this point from everyone involved, I really appreciate this board. You guys have all worked tremendously hard over the last several months to really dig in on each of these issues, and I just have great respect for each of you, and very much appreciate the time and energy you put into this. This is mostly a volunteer position, and we love traveling all over the state and seeing all the corners of Arizona, and it's a true gift to be able to serve in this capacity. But sometimes we're left with some very difficult decisions, and this is definitely one of them. I also want to extend my gratitude to ADOT staff. I would imagine we're not a really easy board to work with, and you guys have been patient and continue to bring us answers to the questions that we ask often, and I very much appreciate the open dialogue that we continue to have with you. There a couple things that I just wanted to touch on. One is throughout this process we've heard, and we heard again today, discrepancies in the data. That the data that some groups and individuals today with Payson Police Department is different than the data that ADOT has and is presenting. And so as we move forward, because this is an annual process and it'll start again on July 1, I would admonish us as a group to ensure that the data that we have, that we're making data-driven decisions with the human element, and that we double-check our data and ensure that all of the data that we have is the best that we can obtain. I am a stickler for the public process. It is really important to me that we have really open communication. The worst thing for me is when government feels like a black box that no one else can access except for the people behind the scenes. And I don't like that. I want this to be open and transparent. I want us to be able to make decisions with proper vetting and with all the information that we can gather with questions answered well in advance so that we can weigh all of our options. A couple months ago, the board asked ADOT staff to bring forward alternatives that would include the 347. And one of the alternatives that they brought back to us ahead of time was this 260 delay. And I'm really glad that we brought that forward early, because we wouldn't have had the public participation that we had today. We wouldn't have understood as a board how many times that project had been delayed. We wouldn't have had all of the information that we have today to make that decision if that hadn't been brought forward a couple of months ago. Today, we have a third option that unfortunately is the first time the public has seen it. In some cases, we've only learned about this as a board, this option 3 this week. And while I'm really grateful for option 3, I wish we would have had time to fully vet it. I recognize and very much respect Board Member Elcher's experience, both being a state engineer and on this board for longer than most of us, since this is his second opportunity. But I like the public. I like to hear from the public. I want to know how these projects, or even the delays of these projects, are going to affect individuals. All that being said, alternative 3 really is our best option, given everything that we have and all that we've heard. So I appreciate staff for going back to the table in future opportunities. I would like to see that done sooner rather than later, so we have more opportunities to hear from people who are impacted by these projects. I echo the sentiments of my colleagues here that we are building a 5-year transportation plan in 2025 on a funding program that was built in 1992. There are very few vehicles on our roads anymore that were built in 1992. And so not only is it a broken system, but we really need some political will. And I would love to have everyone in this room activated. Not to put all the pressure on 347 advocates or 260 advocates. It should be a statewide effort, but if there was, I can't think of a better group to advocate for an upgrade and a modernization of our funding system. So with all that being said, I think I've made my points clear today, and again, I want to thank ADOT. Also, be careful what you wish for. There's a construction phase that usually occurs and can add to the pain. Things can get worse before they get better sometimes, but patience and continued partnership with ADOT and the agencies that I have no doubt that will occur. And similar to how we experienced all of the communication on the Broadway Curve project, which was very successful, and I'd love to see that type of robust communication continue in a lot of these projects, including Lion Springs and in the 347. So with all of that being said, we can entertain a motion on agenda item 5.
I would like to make this motion.
Please do.
If you guys don't mind. Madam Chair, I move that we approve the FY26 through 30 ADOT 5-year transportation facilities construction program, including the addition of alternative 3 as presented.
Good. Sounds great.
All right.
We have a motion by Board Member Howard. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mayor Littlefield.
We have 3 seconds, so you can pick which one you want. Thank you all.
And I kept quiet.
I'm going to go with Board Member Alters because I heard him the best in my ear. We have a motion by Board Member Howard and a second by Board Member Alters. All in favor, please say aye.
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 That's the one I was waiting for. Thank you. All right. Any opposed? That motion passes with a unanimous. We still have 4 agenda items, so don't go anywhere. Just kidding. If you need to go, we understand.
If we let them go, then the traffic might not be as bad on the way home, for those of us going in that direction.
All right.
So I do have one question for the audience. Was anybody watching online back in the watch party?
Let's just do it. Yeah, let's just continue. Yeah. I'll make them go fast, right?
She's running a tight meeting. That's good.
All right, we're moving on to agenda item 6. We'll bring Matt back up.
Jason, could we load up agenda item number 6, please?
Just kidding. It says Matt, but it's Iqbal. Welcome.
He's ready to go.
And Iqbal, I'm going to ask you to do the Cliff Notes version of your presentation.
Okay, yes.
Speedy.
I'll
Thanks.
do that. I would go.
Thank you. Just go without.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and the members of the board. For record, my name is Iqbal Hussain, the Deputy Division Director of Malta Board of Money Division. Today, I will present item number 6, tribal transportation updates. It's coming. Okay, so my first one is, so I'm going to share a quick update on our ongoing collaboration with the Intertribal Council of Arizona. As part of the continued collaboration, ADOT and ITCA, the working group had a meeting on May 29. It was a very successful meeting. The key agenda topics on that meeting was updates on the ADOS Safety Circuit Rider program. We also talked about, there was a briefing from Native American Aviation Association and also an overview of the Arizona Long Range Transportation updates. Two good news I must share with you. So the good news is that with more than 11 tribal nations represented at the meeting, we are excited to see the numbers continuously increasing. And also another good news, we also had strong participation from partner agencies like EIA Western Region, then Maricopa Association of Government, and Northern Arizona Council of Government, etc. Next item or the update I have on SR 264. I shared an initial update on SR 264 corridor planning study back in April. Today I would like to give a follow-up on that. We are halfway through on the SR 264 corridor planning study. We scheduled 2 meetings for public information. The community member will have the opportunity to learn more about the study and give the feedback. There are 2 meetings scheduled. One is on July 14 from 5 to 7 p.m. And another meeting is on July 15. This concludes my presentation on tribal transportation updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Iqbal? All right, seeing none, thank you. We will move now to agenda item 7, Lisa. And Lisa, at the risk of going too much farther over, we have one request to delay.
To you today, Madam Chair.
All right, just tell us what you're asking us to vote on. We'll skip directly to that if that's okay.
Okay. There are 2 applications. The first one is from Yuma County. They have been awarded the Railroad Crossing Elimination Grant. They are requesting match on this grant in the amount of $160,000. And they have indicated the project can proceed without, or if it didn't get any assistance. Second application is from the city of Flagstaff. They were awarded the RAISE grant, as you heard in the public comment. They have also indicated that the project can proceed if it does not get assistance. I am going to skip forward to the financial summary. There is sufficient funding in the counties over 100K for Yuma's application. However, there is not for munis over 10 for the Flagstaff application. So the resolutions have been tailored such that we're recommending full approval of 160K for Yuma, and then you can do up to 2.927 and change for Flagstaff. That will zero out munis over 10,000. Last point is we will bring a redistribution to you in July to rebalance all 5 funding categories. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Lisa. That's helpful. Any questions from the board?
Okay, one question, Madam Chair, real quick. Did the legislature, and I'm sorry if that it was mentioned in the legislative update, did they authorize an additional tranche of funding for AZ Smart Funds in this year's budget?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Maxwell, it's my understanding they did not.
So
There's some line items in the Senate budget that was proposed that don't have clear definitions associated with them, and I don't think it's clear yet if some of those dollar amounts are anticipated to be put towards SMART, but they line itemed them wrong. So it's my understanding people are asking those questions.
So
we don't know yet.
We don't know. As of today, we have no knowledge that they are adding funds.
Okay. Knowing that we're going to redistribute in the coming months, I was more concerned about is will we have other funds, especially with such a large give on this item?
We don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
Board Member Peshakai?
Yes, Madam Chair, what was Flagstaff asking for from the SMART Fund? What was that amount?
Their original request was $3.8 million. The project required 5.8. And that was the required match. They committed 10.2 in their race application. They are asking for 3.8 of the required match, because we can only do required match. So they would still have almost 7 and change million in the project.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, one follow. So the city of Flagstaff obviously is in that muni greater than 10. And I know they've been very active, very good using these funds, the SMART funds. How much have we appropriated them, if any, so far this year? I knew I was used the slide that you had to skip in the effort of time.
It's also on the dashboard.
Yeah.
If you look at the Metro Plan line on the slide that's up now, it's in the middle table by COG and MPO. They have submitted 4 applications. If you award this will be their 4th award.
Gotta give them credit.
They've been very aggressive going after federal funds as well, and so that might be part of the reason we're seeing. Okay, any more questions from the board? Any online or from our virtual board members?
Questions here?
All right, we will entertain.
Call for the question.
Yes, I'll entertain a motion.
Would you like to take them together, Madam Chair?
We can, yeah, let's do it.
Madam Chair, I move to approve, as per staff recommendation, item 1, which would approve $160K to Yuma County for match on rail crossing elimination grant, and item 2, up to $2,927,990 to the city of Flagstaff for match on their raise grant.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Oh,
Aye.
sorry, Lisa.
My apologies, Madam Chair, but I do need a specific amount on Flagstaff. Are you approving $2,927,990 or some other number below that?
Lisa, I don't know if you missed my motion, but I was specific. I read it from the recommendation.
I think the question was up to, but I think the intention is the 2.9.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, so I'll call for that vote again just because I interrupted us voting. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa. All right, agenda item 8, Matt. Oh, Iqbal. Matt, you're getting no airtime today, and you're on my.
We only prepare with the information I have.
Yep, me too.
So on item 8, we just have 2 projects today. Both are for project modifications. I can make a motion. Let me tell.
Nope, I think we're good. Are there any questions from the board on agenda items 8A or 8B?
Now, Madam Chair, I move that we approve items 8A and 8B.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Maxwell and a second by Board Member Howard. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. That motion carries unanimously. Agenda item 9. Mr. Byers? You can do the third read legislative version of yours if you'd like.
Madam Chair, board members, for item 9, we have 87 projects under construction worth $2.9 billion. 7 projects were finalized in May worth $34.3 million. And fiscal year to date, we have 81 projects finalized.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions on Greg's first slide? First and last slide for today. Just kidding. All right. Thank you, Greg. We'll have you move to agenda item 10, construction contracts.
Well, on item 10, we gotta do 10A because with this is a roadway widening project, I-17 Sonoran Desert Drive to the northbound off-ramp. The low bid was $1,281,556,000.
Say, Greg, real quick, you need to advance, I think one more slide, Jason. One more slide.
Slide 12.
Yeah.
There. That's it, 10, thank you.
The state's estimate was $1,538,640, a difference of $257,084, or 16.7%. The recommendation on this is to postpone this. Maricopa Association of Governments has asked us to wait until after regional council votes on this, and we will bring this back next month.
Thank you. Is there a motion to postpone on agenda item 10A?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. I think the
Madam
next.
Chair, we can take B, C, and D all in
perfect.
one shot if you'd like.
I would like that. Thank you. Any questions on 10B, C, or D? All right. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So move, Madam Chair.
Second.
All right. We are fulfilling the recommendation or to award these 10B, C, and D. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Terrific. That motion carries unanimously as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Any suggestions for future agenda items from the board?
Madam Chair, this is Richard.
Please go ahead, Richard.
One quick comment. I would like to acknowledge Anthony Castleman with the South Central District. He responded to a call of a public issue in Benson, and he followed up on it. And this was the request to look at a protected turn signal on Highway 80. And he got back to me this last week to solve that problem, and I'm really appreciative. And I think Anthony's doing a great job down there to do so. So, Director, you put a little star in Anthony's corner.
Thank you. We can't have favorites, board members, sir.
Oh, I don't, but you know, he gets a star this month. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Board member Peschlikai?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make a general comment about all the accidents and the loss of life and these types of things that we all experience. And yesterday when I was driving to Payson, I was just reminded how so many of us are in a rush, and I'm going to put myself in that group. But being a state transportation board member and an upstanding citizen like everybody else here, I was trying to stay pretty close to the speed limit. I'm not going to say what speed I was going, but
the posted one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got a number of friendly one finger waves, and I think that just goes to show how people feel maybe too safe and invincible on our roads. And just to give a virtual shout out to folks that that we need to be respectful and kind and cognizant of other folks on the road, and that would save so many lives. And that when somebody speeds way too fast past me, I say they should have left yesterday. So I just want to do that shout out, and let's try to encourage people to obey the law, that it's there for a reason. And so many of our heartbreaks could be alleviated just by leaving a little earlier. And I'm guilty of leaving late, but just a shout out. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Pashlikai. Any other suggestions?
Madam Chair, I have a quick request. Christine, at some point, and it doesn't have to be the next meeting, I'm going to get on my soapbox again, but could you, and I think you've done this in the past, could you present us some scenarios with the fuel excise tax? And if we taxed it as a tax, just a few different scenarios on the impact for funding.
Okay.
I've run some numbers in my head with my chat GPT. He's been a great help lately. And I want to see how close I am. Not only that, but I want it to be public. I want everyone to see, and I want it to be on record if you could. I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Did you? Oh, okay. I think that concludes the business of our meeting today. So thank you, everyone, and please be safe driving home. Meeting adjourned.
Well done.
I'm really tired.
You should be. If it wasn't that we had such a long meeting, I would have loved to talk more about that flag stuff. You know, if we really not to get any more smart, I appreciate that they're very good, they're aggressive. Both those ones that we approved today were smart ones. They said,